EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday nightcap edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen, and we are wrapping up day number 2 of joint practices with the Eagles and the Browns. Not very pretty today, apparently, everybody. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Thursday evening, brother?
I'm doing well, probably better than the Eagles, at least the Eagles offense. Defensively, there's some issues as well, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, not a great productive 2 days for the offense, I would say, except the running game. The running game's great. From what you can tell, obviously with people not tackling to the ground, but Saquon sat out team drills today, so a little bit different. And I spent most of my time watching the defense because I watched the offense yesterday.
Yeah, and you said it was a letdown. We all expected you were going defensive today.
Yeah, so I did go defensive. And everybody I talked to after the practice, though, was like, ugh. At one point, they threw 4 consecutive passes in the flat to A.J. Dillon. I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't know. It's like that. And I've come to the conclusion, I just wrote about it for people that want to see, and si.com/NFL/Eagles. To call this offense vanilla is like too adventurous. That's too adventurous of a flavor. All they do is run inside zone and count up the numbers in the box. And
is there a flavor less adventurous than vanilla?
Well, that's the point. That's how it's too adventurous, vanilla. That's the description I give this offense. Completely about execution. Forget about all the bullshit about evolution and motion.
Right.
Doing that.
Well, maybe
they're just gonna out execute people.
How do you view that? How do you view that perspective? Execution.
Well, they won last year doing it. Same thing.
It'll be hard to do again, though. No, I mean, come on, we got to be realistic here.
Well, Saquon's looked better this year than last year in training camp. So I don't know. Well, Landon, by the way, one of the positives, he's already out there day after surgery, bringing beer to share with the Browns offensive line after the practice. Moving better than half the people there. That dude's amazing. So good early indications on Landon Dickerson. And as long as you got those 4 guys and Tyler Steen, we don't know what he's going to be, but he'll be fine, I think. As long as you have those guys, you're good. Except when Miles shows up.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. We got plenty to talk about tonight. Johnny Mac characterizes the offense as less flavorful than vanilla. That would be too great of a characterization. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this defense as well, what John saw from that side. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here this evening. I'm sure we have a great crowd, and we'll have a great crowd throughout the duration of the show. We'll be live till about 8 p.m. here on Birds 365. So we got you for the next hour and 55 minutes around and change. And practice number 2, John, is in the books. And before we get into some of the nitty-gritty, am I allowed to be mad, John, that we didn't win the joint practice with the Browns? I mean, I know everybody's, it's just practice. All right. I want to win everything, for crying out loud, and you're telling me we got our ass beat by the Cleveland Browns?
Well, yeah, I don't believe in winning practice. So, I don't know what did Elliott declare a winner or a loser?
A better team than them or not, though?
Yeah, they're a better team. They're a better team.
Okay.
But it's amazing that, a team that won 3 games, and again, I bring it up all the time when you talk, like everybody on the planet knows what Myles Garrett is. They won 3 games. That the talent level between NFL teams is so close. It ended up being 4 or 5 players, from being the top team like the Eagles to being one of the bottom teams like Cleveland. And certainly a big part of that is quarterback. the Browns are a mess at the quarterback position. Oh, Elliott did declare the Browns the winners. So
Okay.
I guess
I
they're the
didn't know, I
winners.
didn't know that.
I guess they're the winners.
Well, I
joking.
just heard. I'm reading from some of the beat reporters. I'm reading from you, Johnny Mac. I'm reading from Eddie Kratz, and I'm like, holy shit! I didn't expect the Browns to beat up on the Super Bowl champion Eagles.
Well, part of it is, I think, earlier in my notes I wrote about that. Welcome to being the Super Bowl champions, because I think even in practice, people are trying to put their best foot forward.
Right.
I mean, the Browns are running hook and ladders and throwback passes on one field, and the Eagles are dumping off in the flat on another field.
Right.
Like they're really going all out, and yeah, it showed up. There's a bunch of touchdowns, a lot of red zone work today. So you're in you should get some touchdowns, and the Eagles didn't, and the Browns did. So I mean, if you want to declare a winner, I guess you have to give it to the Browns, but that's not what practice is about.
No, it's not. It's not. But I think still there's a desire to win, or to at least to be great, to put your best foot forward. I don't know if it matters or not. Probably doesn't. I know it's practice, but we'll kind of dive into all of it. You started, John, with a comment. I wanted to start on the defense, and we will get there, but you started with talking about the offense, and vanilla is too powerful a flavor to talk about this offense. And apparently, John, Myles Garrett just ruined the day today. It didn't matter if it was Mailata or somebody else. He didn't care.
Well, the funny thing is, yesterday, Lane didn't practice today, just a rest day, so
Right.
No concern there. But yesterday he moved back and forth from his normal. He plays mainly over the right. He plays mainly right end, so that Jordan Mailata, but he moves over, he flips over, and he had some reps against Lane. They could have really, because Matt Pryor was playing right tackle. Matt's a good player, but man, they could have really ruined the practice if they flipped him over. Yeah. I mean, Cam Jurgens, I was telling you before, just the greatest. Cam's awesome. And he's playing center. And I asked him basically, do you get a feeling, because he's an interior guy, and that when he's out there, and this was what Cam said, he's an alien out there. Just watching him move, it reminds me of a predator with some ice skates running through the grass. I don't even know what that means, but I pictured it from the Predator from the movie. That's
right.
With some ice skates, and it's like perfect. That's what he looks like. And it was just perfect. And my guy, and the way Jordan talked, he was gushing about him so much, and he had to stop himself. Jordan Mailata, he was like, "What's going to happen when you watch the film?" And he said, "I'll get a giggle. I'll get a giggle out of it. To be honest, I'm just standing like our first fuck of the day. What the fuck? Sorry, I did my job, and yet I still got beat. How is he still down around my knees, and he's still bending the corner?" He starts the rush in a 4-point stance, and by the time he's 4 yards upfield, he's still at the same height. It's kind of like, what am I supposed to do there? Just jump on him? Not even that's possible. Just carry me to the quarterback. That's the shit you're talking about. And these are all Pro Bowl players. Talking about Myles Garrett. Yeah. And Jalen Hurts has and I said, nobody game plans for practice. Nobody game plans for preseason, never mind practice. But you almost have to just run away from them and dump the ball off, even though the quarterback's running a red shirt, if you want to get a valuable rep. Amazing player.
He really is an amazing
wasted on that team.
I know. I tweeted that today. It's a shame his whole career is going to happen in Cleveland. It really does.
And that's part of my thing I always talk about. Like, I could say all this shit about Myles Garrett, and everybody will back it up. Cam will back it up. Jordan, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to them. And everybody's like, yeah, Myles Garrett, he's great. Because, but quarterback's different, as we know. But he's the best. He's the best edge rusher in football. And number 2 is like not close. And he's on a 3-win team. Again, now last year, obviously they've had some better seasons, but football's the ultimate team game, as Nick calls it. And if the Eagles were playing them in the regular season, they would game plan and they would chip them on every play and do everything possible to slow them down, and they probably do a good job of it. But boy, it's almost like stop the joint practices with Cleveland until he's gone.
I know, strictly because of Myles Garrett. It doesn't say anything about Mailata, right? I mean, what can you do?
No,
yeah,
like like that was.
Does it highlight, as much as good as we talk about Mailata, and I mean no disrespect to him, he's an amazing player, an amazing story, but this guy Myles Garrett's in a different world, John.
Yeah, that Jordan also. He's one of one. He's one of one. One of one. That's what Jordan said. So it's like, again, what the F? Sorry, I did my job and I still get beat. You do everything correctly,
right,
and you're still getting beat.
I saw Jimmy Kempski tweet that he was basically pulling up every play to not ruin the play.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can't even gauge that the receptions that do work down the field, which weren't many, because he's there, and he's pulling up. Because he knows how to practice. He's not going to kill the quarterback. Yeah, amazing player. Would have been fun. Would have been fun if they could have pulled that off.
Oh man, does anybody regret saying I don't want to give up Nolan Smith to get my?
Oh my God, and I said it at the time, and
you did. You were like, you guys are fucking insane. I think is what you said, literally.
It's nothing against Nolan Smith. I mean, it's as Jordan said, one of one. Nobody else is close.
No doubt about it. John, what else did the offense do today? We're going to dive into the defense. I know you had better eyes on the defense today, so we're going to dive into that. Obviously, we got some concerns there. But just anything else on the offense? I mean, you described them as not a very good description, I think, if you're looking at it from the outside. Myles Garrett, record practice. Not much. I mean, 4 straight dump-offs to A.J. Dillon. I'm not sure what that's helping in a practice window. I don't know. Maybe it's just practicing not making the wrong play, I guess.
Maybe. I mean,
I feel like that description is no longer.
There was a lot of red zone work, and they didn't have a freaking touchdown. I mean, that's not good. Now, again, AJ's not out there, so we all know it. To me, it was, and I started off. It was like Groundhog Day, but it was Inception inside of Groundhog Day, because that's what we're talking about. They're an awesome running team. And the passing game looked like a pop gun. So it looked like the Carolina game, the Green Bay game, the Rams game, the 120-yard passing games. That's what it looked like. So that's what it looked like.
Is there any concern on Kevin Patullo here? This guy's been the passing game coordinator for 3 straight years. Now he's the offensive coordinator, and you're telling me they can't score a touchdown in the freaking red zone in practice?
Well, you saw it last year, so it does. You saw it with Shane, you saw it with Nick, you saw it with Brian, you saw it with Kellen. Now you'll see it with Kevin. It's the same offense,
right? As much as a new mind, a new passing guy comes in and tries to, they all keep falling back to the same things.
Well, they fall back because they're good coaches, and they fall back into what they do well.
Right? Yeah, I'm good with that. But does it highlight on the other side of it, something that the offense is missing that could increase?
Well, I don't know if it's missing, when you win basically almost every game.
Well, last year was last year, John, and they had the number 1 defense in football. Now we'll talk about the defense, but I don't know if they're ready to do that again.
Well, I agree with that. And yeah, from that perspective, things might have to change, and they will change if they have to change, and they have to do sort of, in between last year and 2023 when they collapsed. They have to figure out how to work the passing game when they need it to an effective level. Look, I think AJ Brown, number one, he's not out there, as I said. That's the biggest contextual piece of this. Not to mention Lane and Landon Dickerson weren't out there, and Saquon wasn't. Saquon only did individuals. So you're talking about, think about those four players: AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. They weren't out there.
No, those are probably four of your top 6 or 7 offensive players.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'm also not going to lie. It's and it's the same when they're in there. It's a very vanilla offense. But it's effective when they're in there because those guys are just better than their opponents 99% of the time. And that's why I say this offense is about execution, not about evolution or creativity.
We'll see what they can do coming up in this year, the offense being what they are right now. Does it concern you at all that, A.J. Brown not on the field, and it's just like, it's almost like the offense is like, they don't have a chance if A.J. Brown, like it's weird. Like I know he's a great player. I'm not trying to take away from what A.J. Brown is, but I don't feel like we should become that. And I know you missed more players today, but it does feel like every time A.J. Brown's not out there, man, they can't do a damn thing.
No, that doesn't bother me because he's gonna be ready for the regular season. So this happens throughout the league now, where one of your really good players tweaks something and you just shut him down. Jefferson, same thing right now. He's shut down. They completely shut him down. They're not going to risk it. And that's what the Eagles are doing with AJ. I don't know if they're going to completely shut him down. I presume he's going to be back. And I presume Jefferson's going to be back. But, to prep for the start of the regular season in practice. So 2 weeks, basically. And I'm fine with that. If he's not back for that, then I'd be a little bit concerned. But he'll be back for that.
Yeah, I think so as well. You heard Saquon Barkley. I think he had the quote today. If there's one guy I'm not worried about at all, it's that guy. So that's AJ Brown. That's Saquon Barkley talking about AJ Brown. We will see. Shout out to Myles Garrett. He's an amazing player, obviously, and that's a guy you tip the cap to. When you destroy Jordan Mailata over and over again, you're rarefied air, and I think we all know that. John, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. The more I read, the more my concerns grow on the defensive side of the ball. What did you see today for the Eagles defense?
Well, number one, they essentially, if you could bench somebody in practice, they benched Ringo. I did not see him get one first-team rep
Wow.
for the first time in this camp. Dory Jackson was the first team corner, and then Jacorian Bennett rotated in. And then the second team was, Eli Ricks also didn't get any work, which is surprising to me.
So was it just Jacorian and Adoree, or?
Well, the second team was no, the first team was, yes, just Adoree and Jacorian. The second team was Jacorian and McWilliams to start. And then finally, towards the end, Ringo.
Wait. So first team was Quinion and Adoree to start. And second team was
Jacorian and McWilliams.
So Keely Ringo didn't even start on the second team defense today.
No. And he didn't get many reps at all. Neither did Eli Ricks. They finally came in and mixed in with the second team at the end. And it was a short practice, I should say that. It was only 66 minutes.
Okay. Yesterday was an hour 45, so about 40 minutes less.
So it was a lot shorter, but I was still stunned. Just the lack of reps that Keely Ringo got, and to a lesser extent, Eli Ricks. So, and by the way, Bennett did not look good. Did not look good. McWilliams did not look good. So It wouldn't surprise me, and we've lost Xander. Hopefully, you can hear me. Yeah, you're back.
I'm back, right?
Yeah. So your
Yeah,
your
my
camera
camera.
went dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, from the standpoint of they didn't look good, so it wouldn't surprise me. The game is obviously this is the last practice. They're going to have a walkthrough tomorrow. The game, it's going to be interesting. I assume they're not entrenched, so I assume guys like Ringo and Ricks are going to play. And Bennett needs to play, obviously. We'll see if Adoree plays or if he's gotten to the point. He's got to be your starting corner right now. There's no other option. There's no other option than Adoree Jackson. And it didn't sound like Vic was enthralled with that thought process, but the other guys are just playing themselves out of a job, it seems. So that's pretty bad. I thought there was some good from Sidney Brown, though. Especially in the red zone. He looks good when he gets to go downhill, which I think makes some sense. Like he was great in run fits. He had a big hit on Harold Fannin, who had a big day, by the way.
But now, can you tell me about that hit with Harold Fannin? Because I read something that concerns me, and it was from Tim McManus, John, and he tweeted, "Notes from today: an active day for Sidney Brown, as you just said. He shouldered tight end Harold Fannin to the ground following a completion near the boundary. Shouldn't he be wrapping people up? He has a propensity."
Well, I think you're using the sideline as a
right. It's a different circumstance.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, it's not the middle of the field. In middle of the field, as he was closing, a lot of running plays in the red zone. So as he was closing, he would wrap up. So I think, yeah, he was just using the sideline. I didn't think that it was a big deal. Now, the question with Sidney Brown is not downhill and physicality. That's what we know he can do. The question is in space, which is why they drafted Makuba, because they think he's comfortable in space in coverage. So that is still to be determined. But again, Harold Fannin beat Makuba for a touchdown. Again, using his body, using his size. I don't think Makuba's proving to be ready yet early on. So yeah, it wasn't a great day for the defense either. And then there's the weird dichotomy, like the past few weeks, not few week, past week, a few days this week. Jalix Hunt has been working at the left, they call it overhang, where Nolan Smith is a starter. He's been on the second team. Today it was Uche, it was Ojulari first, Uche, and even Obo working at right end. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe that's again, it was a lot of red zone. Maybe that's their maybe they want more, I don't know, something.
Do they not like Jalix on that side? Does he not like it? Is he not comfortable? I mean, I feel like that's where he played last year when he did get the reps last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's where he's played mainly this year. It took him a long time before they flipped him over to the left side. So that's why, I mean, they ultimately they want to cross train. So that part doesn't surprise me because ultimately you want to be able to move Nolan from side to side. And if you want to do that, you have to move, Jalix has to do similar to cornerbacks. So that part doesn't surprise me that they're trying to get him some reps over there. But the fact that Aziz and Josh and Oba are getting the first team reps surprised me, all of them. So yeah, it doesn't seem, and I mentioned it this morning on the drive in, seems instead of it's supposed to be contracting, it's expanding at all these positions. And I don't think that's a good sign.
No, it's not, because if people were seizing the job and seizing the moment, then it would be lessening, no doubt about it. John, let's go to Keely Ringo here. Concern has got to be growing rapidly, not only for us and not only for the people listening to the show right now, but I got to think inside the NovaCare complex. I mean, Keely Ringo doesn't get a first team rep today. he doesn't start on the second team. I mean, if you use that example that I loved, a GPS. If he was their GPS set, I mean, things are not looking good for Keely Ringo, John, and that cornerback 2 spot.
No, they're not. They're not.
Is there a solution? Is there a thought process that outside the organization exists? I know they already made the trade, but hey, maybe they would go to the open market on a guy that's not signed, and you don't have to give up an asset.
Well, I think at some point, if you give up on Keely Ringo, maybe you look to trade him for a different piece. But
what's he worth on the open market right now?
Well, not much. You'd be looking at not at they'd be looking would be player for player. So.
Okay.
If somebody needed a cornerback and you're trying to bring back an edge rusher and they're deep at edge rusher, that type of deal. But he is still very important on special teams. He's the first team vice defender, as they call it, the first team gunner on kickoff, on the vice defender on kickoff returns, punt returns. He's their top gunner. So. But let's be honest, that's not where they expected to be with this particular player. So, yeah, it's difficult. Maybe he's trying to light a fire under him. Keely's sort of understated, not the most vocal guy. Sometimes Quignon's not the most vocal guy, but he shows up on the field. By the way, he got beat by Jerry Judy. First time all summer I've seen him beat. Jerry Judy got him pretty good on back-to-back plays. So it wasn't the best day.
Back-to-back plays.
Yeah, it wasn't the best day for the defense either. Yeah, Judy got him for what probably would have been a touchdown. You never know, again, if people are going to tackle you, but probably would have been a touchdown. And
sounds like we got our ass handed to us today by the Browns. And that's what it sounds like to me. I know you're John, and you're a reporter, and you don't think about it like that, which is perfectly fine. But to me, it sounds like we got our ass throttled by the Browns today in practice.
Well, like Judy's really good, and with corners eventually going to get beat. So I don't worry about it. Then the back-to-back, the second play slipped, but Judy was wide open, and it didn't work anyway because Flacco overthrew it, but he beat Quignon pretty badly. But that's a good player. Again, all NFL teams have good players, and I think too many fans don't recognize that. And if you're lined up against Jerry Judy, he's going to beat you.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I think that's one instance. It sounds like those instances happened all over the field on both sides of the football all day long.
Well, yeah. Well, offensively was, a shit show.
I mean, was Joe Flacco throwing? I saw someone put, and I know you don't like the stats, and I don't really like them either, but I did see someone say he had 4 touchdown passes on this defense.
Yeah. They had a bunch of touchdowns. Yeah. Fanning got one. Judy got one, as I mentioned. Who else? Oh, and Njoku beat Jahad Campbell, the other freak they have.
Yeah, Njoku, he's a freak too, yep.
And there was a 4th from I think Tillman. So yeah, they had a bunch of touchdowns against the Eagles defense, and the Eagles offense had 0 to my knowledge. Now, again, I didn't watch the whole I didn't watch much of the offense, but those are secondhand reports. But to my knowledge, they didn't get in the end zone once, which, yeah, it's not a positive practice. I don't think yesterday, first day, I think it was positive from the standpoint of they were just dominating them in the run game, which is boring and all that, but they're still dominating. Today it was, yeah, I would say a better day for Cleveland.
Cleveland has a good day today at practice. John, who else stuck out on the defense? You mentioned Jahad Campbell. I think we always do an update on him and what we're seeing from him, his progression, and where we are, in terms of the start of the season coming. I still think, John, as well as Trotter's done this camp, that there is still an opportunity if Jahad Campbell gets ready or gets up to speed that they would get him on the football field quickly. Does it look like that could happen? What's the update on Jahad Campbell?
Yeah, I still, he talked today, and he was talking about, he was talking to Miles, and he said, two freaks getting together talking. I'm like, oh, slow down, big guy. Don't compare yourself to Miles.
Yeah. Jahad, I got high expectations for you, but
yeah. slow it down. I would say that he is a very good athlete, and you see that, and it's noticeable. But I do have some concerns over him in coverage. As I mentioned, he got beat by Njoku today, which is not the worst thing in the world. But earlier in camp, the Eagles were giving Small Munden a lot of coverage reps because they seemed to think that he was ahead from that standpoint, not ahead overall, but from that standpoint, situationally. So I think there's still a ways to go. I mean, if I'm playing week 1 tomorrow, I'm playing Jeremiah Trotter because Zach will be back. He's back in a limited way, but he'll be one of the starters in linebacker, and my other starter would be Jeremiah Trotter for early in the season at least.
Right.
And then if he starts to falter, then maybe you throw Campbell into the deep end of the pool and see what it looks like. But I think they have some time and continued development, but wasn't. And again, it's amazing for how bad people think Cleveland is, and then you look over there and they just got a bunch of dudes, as they say,
right?
At certain positions. I mean, Njoku's like a legitimate great player. Judy's really good. Miles is Miles. So
Denzel Ward's a good player. How's the matchup with him been?
Well, they didn't test him. I mean,
I read Ed Kratz today. He's like they didn't throw the ball downfield, if at all, today.
Yeah, no, and they didn't throw it down the field much. The longest play, because again, from people like Ed, who was watching mainly the offense, their longest play in 2 days was a 25-yard or so. It might have been 20. We're doing this on the fly.
Yeah, right. You're basically guessing.
Back shoulder to Johnny Wilson on their first play that they ran. That was their best play from a yardage standpoint in the entire 2 practices. And part of it is, like I said, they threw the ball so much in the flat, they're going to have to resod the flats on the one field to go back to practice. All they did. I mean, it was part of it is, and Kevin did mention last time he spoke, he did mention not showing things. Maybe they were doing it purposefully because they don't really care. But all we can do is report what we saw, and it wasn't pretty offensively, except for the inside zone.
Yeah.
But Barkley didn't play today in team drills.
John, let's walk through Drew Makuba a little bit right now. He's the guy, the rookie second rounder this year, expected. I mean, at least I thought the GPS might be set on him to be the safety. Now it looks like it's going to be Sidney Brown. But how did Makuba look today? I know he got beat by Njoku on a touchdown throw, but outside of that, Makuba today, how did he look?
Yeah, he wasn't in Njoku. Njoku was Jahad, and then
Edward,
and then Reed. Yeah. Well, it was Reed and Jahad. And with Makuba, it was Harold Fannin. He beat him for the touchdown.
Because Ed might have messed that up. Not to call that out on the air, but
no, but I do it. Everybody does it.
Yeah,
but it was Fannin, and Njoku was Njoku had a touchdown. He probably just conflated the 2 touchdowns, but they both had touchdowns. But Fannin was the guy who beat Makuba. And yeah, I mean, he struggles with guys who have size, and he's got to figure that out because it's going to continue.
Right, it's a reality.
Yeah.
Yale says Fannin has 100 pounds of Makuba, and Yale, you're right, but the problem is most guys he plays up against are going to have about 100 pounds on him.
Well, he don't have 100 pounds on him.
Well,
But
whatever it is, 50
yeah.
or 60 pounds on him probably.
And he's actually one of the smaller tight ends. And
Yeah.
Njoku would be the guy who, completely.
Njoku probably has 100 on him.
Yeah. And Dallas, even here in practice, has given him fits because he's, so big and physical. But Fannin's a really good receiver. Played for Scott Leffler at
I was gonna say that.
Bowling Green. But the knock on him is he's undersized at tight end for a tight end. But Njoku's the monster. Yeah, I don't think he's ready to play right away, Makuba. I mean, but part of that is he was hurt. He missed a bunch of practices. He missed 6 total practices when you talk about team drills. And, he's also the 64th pick in the draft. He's not, he's not. And some people think
he wasn't
the Eagles,
a blue chip player, right?
No, and some people think the Eagles overdrafted him because they were looking for a specific type of player. And what the Eagles like about Makuba is they think he's very comfortable in space, as I said. He's a lot of safeties panic when they're in space with receivers who are much faster and obviously much more gifted from a ball skill standpoint. He's very comfortable in space. That's what they like about him. And the other stuff, the run support, the run fits, the getting boxed out by a big tight end in the red zone. That's the stuff you have to see if he can do. When he's in space, he's probably better than most safeties, but you got to get him up to speed with the other stuff.
We'll see how that all shakes out. John, this might be a tough question for you to answer, but I've been trying to think about this defense, and I think it's tough because I think most people by default compare them to what the defense was at the conclusion of last year, which was their pinnacle, their best game on an incredible year. And they were the number 1 overall defense in football and stopped Mahomes and Reed. Couldn't get past half field for 9 or 10 drives it was. So I don't think we can compare the defense in August to that team. Can we?
Shouldn't.
You shouldn't. I'm just saying, could you try and compare the defense right now on August 14th to where the defense was last year at this time? You remember the first 4 weeks. I mean, that didn't look like the best defense in football in the first 4 weeks. It takes time.
No.
How does this defense right now compared to where the defense was at this time last year? Because I think it's unfair to compare them to the finished product of last year's team. This team is at the very beginning stages.
Well, I think, and Zach Bond has talked about this, and I think for the guys that were here, they're probably ahead because of, being a big scheme for a year. So the guys that are returning, they're probably ahead. The problem is you got a bunch of guys who are either new or haven't played before,
Right.
and they're still in the midst of learning what is, by NFL standards, a pretty complicated defense, modern NFL standards. So I think it depends how you look at it. I think, the Carters, the Davises, the Jomos, Nolan, they've been here. Those guys, they're probably ahead of where they were last year at this time. And, the new guys are probably behind what was here last year because they're just not as good. It was all new for Slay, but Slay's a veteran player. It was all new for Nakobe, and even though he wasn't a veteran proven player at the time, high football IQ, that type of thing.
Right.
A lot of success in college, yada, yada, yada. CJ, same thing, veteran player. Isaiah had played in Indy. Oren Burks, veteran player, if you want to go all the way down. to those guys, and obviously, at the top, the five starters. So it, but to your point, even Vic acknowledged he didn't know how good that defense was last year, until week 6 or week 7, when he thought that was the first time he said he thought,
Right.
all right, we might have something here. And Quinion and Cooper were completely unproven as rookies.
Exactly.
So, but in the case of Cooper, it took a while for us to see him. But in the case of Quinion, it was evident he was going to be a day one starter from day one of training camp. Certainly not the same with the younger cornerbacks that they have now, who are not even rookies, but unproven players.
Very unproven, and I don't think showing nearly as much as the guys did last year at this time. But it's tough for me to remember exactly where we were at this point. John, question on the offense here. A.J. Brown continues to miss, and I am with you and Saquon. I don't have worries about A.J. Brown, but my contention or my worry would be this. This offense is not getting many reps this summer, John, all out there together. I mean, even this summer, John, you remember a tweet from A.J. Brown, I'm looking for a quarterback in the area to throw. And I have no problem with him doing that, but they didn't work much together in the summer. I know Jalen worked with Jahan Dotson. They're not getting many reps all on the field together right now in training camp. I mean, is the first time they're all going to be out there really getting a chance to, find cohesion in the regular season week 1? Any concern with that?
Well, I think almost from the standpoint of, the first couple games, the first 2 games is what everyone says. It's sort of like the new preseason. So I think you're going to see some ugliness, just like you did last year. But no, I'm not too worried about it, especially when you think about Devontae specifically and AJ. I mean, and Nick got asked that question this morning. Is it concerning that those two haven't had many reps on the field together? And I'm like Saquon on that. It's like, who cares? It's AJ and Devontae.
Well, I'm not talking about his ability. I'm talking about, being on the same page as
but
your
they know, but they're on the same page with Jalen, and they know what they're doing.
Well, they did have the 29th ranked passing offense last year, John.
Well, yeah, but that's a volume thing. If they decided to throw it, they could have been, much higher. But, they probably wouldn't have been as successful. Their whole mentality last year was, if we don't turn the ball over, we're going to win.
Right.
And it proved to be right. Like, I don't think you're right in saying the number is correct, and they had a bottom 5 passing offense by mundane statistical numbers.
Right.
But if they decided to play a different way, they could probably have a top 10 passing offense.
Well, they could, but one of the reasons that they didn't have that passing offense is because the first 4 weeks were so putrid and ugly that they had a meeting at the bye week with the offensive lineman, and then it just worked so good they never had to change. So.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that the Green Bay game, the game in Brazil, was ugly, and they still managed to win it, but it was ugly, and from a turnover standpoint, and there were more turnovers that if Green Bay caught the ball, they could have had. So I think that freaked them out a little bit. But man, boy, that first game, I've said it pretty consistently for the people that don't like me because they don't think I like Jalen Hurts, which is not the case. I've said it pretty consistently, and I hope those people listen because I've said it all the time. Right. I thought that was completely unfair to Jalen Hurts. You're going to fucking Brazil,
Sao Paulo
on week 1 of the. That's a difficult trip. Not to make excuses because he didn't play well, but that's a difficult trip.
Well, I agree. I agree. But remember, people did talk about the 7 turnovers in the first 4 games and all those things.
Well, yeah, and that's what I thought it was completely unfair. I thought they overreacted to it, but They won. So, they're not going to see it that way.
Yeah, right.
But I still think they overreacted to it. He's always been, and I've been consistent with that as well. He's always been very ball security conscious. But I think last year they went over to, not taking enough chances, basically. In understanding that they were going to win if they didn't turn the ball over. And they were right. So that's, where they pop out their chest and said, proof is in the pudding.
Right. You mentioned it's a volume thing last year, John. And I agree with you, by the way. You look at Jalen's numbers, they were actually pretty good efficiency-wise, rating-wise, and all those different things. But what's your confidence level if that volume does increase, that it will remain as effective? Because I will say this, and I know a lot of fans will have a problem with this conversation, but I don't think it's a negative conversation. I just think there's a reality to, if your defense doesn't perform at a historic level like it did last year, obviously your offense is going to have to make up for more of that, and it might need to come in the form of a passing game. What's your confidence level if the volume increases, the efficiency will rise with it or stay with it?
Well, again, it depends what you're measuring, because the more you throw the ball, the more you're going to turn it over. And I think a lot of people will boil it down to that, which is not always the way you should be looking at things. I mean, sometimes you have to throw the ball to win games. The Eagles found a formula where they didn't have to throw the ball to win games. And that's rare. So if you want to stipulate that's not going to happen again, then you have to acknowledge the volume has to go up on the passing game. And when the volume goes up on the passing game, you have to accept the fact that there's going to be a few more turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, strip sacks, whatever. That's just the nature of it. So, the goofy completion percentage, yardage, that kind of stuff are much less important than the efficiency, the advanced stats, how efficient are you playing, things like that. What's the success, the passing success rate, they call it, yada, yada, all these advanced stats that the nerds have taken over every sport.
Yeah.
But, Jalen's passing success rate was higher in 2023 than it was in 2024, which is, blows people's minds.
Yeah. I mean, the only problem I think Jalen had in 23 was really just the turnovers, right? I mean, he turned the ball over a lot more in 23, but other than that, he had a pretty good year.
Yeah, well, I've argued he had a better year individually in 2023 than 2020, and people look at me like I'm insane. His best year was 2022. His second best year is 2023, and then you can debate 2024 versus 2021.
Well, how much of that falls to that volume comment you mentioned?
Well, I think more of it depends. The volume is what happened in 2023. So when he had 15 interceptions, which was uncharacteristic. And again, if you break some of them down, there were a couple of them that I always remember. They stick in my head. The Jets game was one, and that might have been the worst interception I've ever seen Jalen Hurts throw. It was just completely uncharacteristic, wasn't needed. One of his poorest throws of his career. And then the Seattle game where he and AJ went off script. They probably were going to win that game if they just didn't get a little bit too greedy. So, if you break it down every single one, but he threw the ball 538 times in 2023. He threw the ball 361 times in 2024. So that is, 70, whatever. The 178 passes, somewhere in that range. More. You're going to go 178 passes without turning it over? Does that seem logical to anyone? and it could be interception, could be, as I said, fumble, strip sack, whatever.
Right.
178 more times dropping back. Those are the kinds of things I think people don't factor in. Plus, but defense, which was not number one, but number closer to 32 than 31st in passing defense, 26th or 27th overall. So they had to go try to win games in a different way. And when you're down 7 points and it's 4th down and whatever, and the game's on the line, you're going to take a chance. It's all pretty logical.
Yeah, right. Makes sense what you're saying.
So, if the defense regresses, and I don't think they will regress to that point, but if the defense does regress to the 2023 level, well, they're going to have to throw the ball a hell of a lot more. That has nothing to do with Kevin Patullo or Nick Sirianni or Jeffrey Lurie wanting it. Nothing to do. If you're behind, you have to throw.
Right. Makes sense.
So, as long as their defense plays at a high level, as long as Saquon Barkley plays at a high level, they can continue to play the way they played last year. If it doesn't work to the same level, you're going to see some shifts.
We'll see how it all shakes out this year. Eagles got beaten up a little bit today at practice by the Cleveland Browns. All right. Elliott Shore-Parks dubbed the Browns the winner. John says he doesn't like to pick a winner. That's not the point of practice. I agree with John, but nonetheless, the Eagles did kind of get their ass beat today and calling a spade a spade. We'll get to some super chats here. We'll get to our first commercial break. And
I think Elliott's got them at 10-3 in the Nick Sirianni era. So I think they were 8-0. So they've lost. They're in a losing streak, man.
What was yesterday counted as a loss or a win by Elliott? I think win, right?
I think win.
1-1 this year. Good stuff. Let's go to some super chats here. HKP checking in. What's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. Blessed to be able to catch some of the show on my break. Shout out to Big Z and J Mac. Great coverage as usual. HKP, thank you, brother. Keep working hard. Appreciate you checking in on your break. Carson Denniston. What's up, Carson? Big Z, how do I join JAKIB Nation? Go Birds. Go Birds, brother. To join the channel, you actually have to use a browser. I know it's like a pain in the ass. Most people are on their iPhones, but Apple doesn't like Google. Google doesn't like Apple. Apple doesn't, for some reason, let you join or become a member on a channel through their YouTube app. So you go on your browser, on your computer. I know it's a pain in the ass. And there's a join button on our page, and you can become a member that way. So that's how you do it, Carson. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Brandon Lewis says, how the F you get benched in practice? It's a good question.
Well, he didn't get benched. He played, but, from where he was, he got benched. And he was getting, sometimes it was 8-6, I believe, coming into today. Adoree Jackson got the first rep. A lot of people are first rep watchers. So when you see Adoree go out there first, because Kelly was out there first yesterday, it's not a surprise. But then the other one rotates in with the first team.
Yeah.
That part didn't happen today.
Yeah, that's kind of a benching then. I mean, I know it's not a legitimate benching because it's practice, but it's a practice benching.
Yeah. But that's bad enough because you're saying, well, Jacorian Bennett, they're trying to see what he can do. So maybe it's just that. But then when the second team came in and it's Jacorian Bennett and Mac McWilliams, who had been playing slot and has just moved back out to the outside over the past couple of days, well, then your antenna goes up even further.
Right.
Like Vic's trying to throw everything against the wall and see if something sticks. And again, maybe it's just trying to light a fire under Kelly Ringo. That could be part of it as well. But right now, it's like he's trying everything except Eli Ricks, which I can only assume is because Eli can't run like they want. They want more speed on the outside.
Right. Clear. That's what they want on the outside. But sounds like a benching to me. But I hear you, Brandon. I'm with you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Jason Gates checking in. What's up, Jason? He says, "Hey guys, I am rarely able to catch you live, but Ken tonight. Just wanted to say it's been great getting the preseason breakdown from you. Thanks, go Birds." Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that, my man.
Yeah. By the way, this is an interesting thing because I'm reading somebody else's coverage about Adoree Jackson, who gave up a long completion to Jerry Jeudy. This is the fear of practice, because I was right there, and Adoree went for the ball, and it was probably a mistake, and he didn't get it, and Jeudy caught the ball, but the official was right there, and he waved it out of bounds. So it didn't count, but a lot of people thought it counted, because if you were not, you got to be right. I just happened to be in the right position, and he immediately waved it right out of bounds. So I didn't hold that against Adoree because, he's a veteran guy.
Yeah,
he's a veteran guy. He understands where in theory, the sideline is. Maybe he didn't, but that's the way it worked out. But yeah.
No, I think you got to give him that benefit of the doubt. I mean, the sideline, you got to play inside the bounds. That's it. That's the rule.
Not a great day for the cornerbacks.
No.
I would say overall.
John, what's missing on Ringo, man? What are you seeing? Like what's?
Well, I've said it pretty consistently. He's in a position to make plays, and he doesn't make plays. So it could be, I don't think he tracks the football well. I don't. That was the problem Nelson had on offense, Nelson Aguilar. Some guys just don't track the football well. I think that's part of the problem. I think he's a little bit too handsy. So when he's in a position, oftentimes we talked about what the Eagles liked about McCuba. He's very calm in space. Most people get jittery. They're like, oh shit, I'm in space with Jerry Jeudy or somebody like that. And they go,
or Jamar Chase. And before you know it, you're eating his dirt off the back of his boots.
and you start losing your technique because you're worried about the balls coming your way and that kind of thing. So, it's easier said than done to fix that stuff. But the positive is he's in position to make the play a lot. And if it clicks, you can see, all right, because like I said, when you really with cornerbacks, for me, like if you're getting beat and you're getting given up constant separation, like he doesn't give up a ton of separation. There's especially when it's outside the numbers, there's sometimes when in one-on-ones he gets, some of the in-breaking routes he has difficulty with, but there's not that kind of open space in a real game. So that's why Vic doesn't pay much attention to one-on-ones, but he's usually in a position to make the play and he doesn't make the play, which is not a positive, but it's worse than being not in a position to make the play, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because if you're just getting beat, then it's like, all right, game over. But I think he's not that guy, and he's probably lost confidence. Let's be honest. It's a very difficult position to play, man. I mean, God love you, fans. I mean, you're the reason this show exists, but I mean, you guys would shit on Slay. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. So you're going to be shitting on Ringo or Bennett or anybody else who's playing that position this year, because they're not going to be as good.
No, they're not. Good stuff there. We'll get to our commercial break coming up here. Jason, thanks for the super chat. Thanks, everybody, for the super chats tonight. Thank you all for being here tonight. We got a great crowd in here for a Thursday nightcap edition Birds 365. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to drop your comment in the chat below if you want to hear from us or talk with us, or drop your comment after the fact if you're listening to the podcast. Don't forget to rate the show, and we thank you for listening on the podcast tonight. And then one last call to our members. We're adding up a lot of members right now. We appreciate all those coming back in and retiring the gray status and becoming green. We appreciate that, the member status. So you can do that on your computer. Click that join button and join JAKIB Nation to be a part of the giveaways all year long. Something I still have, guys. I never gave them away last year. John, I got 5 of the Super Bowl Eagles caps. So we're going to give away those. We got plenty of stuff we'll be giving away this year. So appreciate all of you guys for being here. Hit that like button. We'll be right back in 3 minutes on Birds 365.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Thursday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen. Give us follows on X at Zander Krause and at JF McMullen. Johnny Mac wrapped up now two joint practices. You called them 2 of the more important days of the summer as you prep for the 2025 season. Now that they are officially in the rearview mirror, John, have your thought processes shifted? Where are you after these 2 joint practices with the Browns? What did you learn about this team in the last 2 days?
Yeah, I didn't think it went well, but I don't think it's time to panic. When I said, from a training camp standpoint, I think it's the most important days of the summer, no doubt. I still think that's the case. And I don't think they went well, but I also don't think that's the end of the world.
Right.
And I do think to a certain extent, the Eagles are holding back some stuff. And certainly Cleveland was, I think, when you're bringing out hook and ladders in practice, it's the opposite. It's like, really? You're bringing out a hook and ladder. You're bringing out trick plays. So you can look at it both ways. I don't think that's necessarily a positive from Cleveland's standpoint because the Eagles have this confidence about themselves that they don't have to do silly stuff. They're just going to line up and beat you. That's their philosophy.
Right.
And they earn that right in that philosophy because they are generally going to line up and beat you. And at times it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be aesthetic. But more often than not, they're going to line up and beat you. But they're not going to line up and beat you if Lane Johnson's not there and Landon Dickerson's not there and Saquon Barkley's not there and A.J. Brown's not there. So that was what was going on today. So I can't be panicked about it, but it didn't go well. But the two most important days of the summer are not important compared to regular season games.
Right.
So you got to put it all in perspective.
But they're important in a sense of learning where you are, for the start of the season, where some of the new guys are, where some of the guys that don't have NFL experience. I mean, they got a lot of those guys this year, John, and that's where I think my concern lies. I don't think it lies that, we had a bad practice. This means we're not going to be a good team. No. But Ringo, Sidney Brown, who I think had sounds like he had an okay day, so maybe no concern there. But, the edge rushers, obviously cornerback too, not just Ringo, but Adoree and all the other guys. That's where I think some of my concern lies, that it feels like these guys are not really ready for what they're going to be asked to do when the regular season does get here. Is that fair or is that an embellishment?
Well, I think compared to what they had last year, most of those positions are going to be a downgrade. But I thought that from the start. And some are going to be less of a downgrade than others. Some you're not concerned with. Morrow, most notably. Starting to get more concerned with Jalix because of the weird.
Yeah. Any speculation on that from you? Like what they're trying to do there?
Like I said, they want to be interchangeable. They want to be able to move Nolan around. To move Nolan around, you have to move Jalix around. So hopefully it's just that. But all of a sudden, if you're week one and Azeez Ojulari's starting, I don't think that's a positive. If you're week one and Adoree Jackson's starting, I don't think that's a positive. If you're week one, I'm okay with Trotter starting. I'm okay with Sydney starting. So it varies by position, but
yeah, even you being okay though with them starting, I think it'd be fair to say Sydney Trotter is not going to be Nakobe Dean.
No,
at least he's not at this point. And
Sydney's not going to be CJ. Yeah. But I thought that from the start. So that's kind of big.
How much do you factor in kind of what I said earlier about, finished product versus the beginning product? Some of these guys do have potential. Potential means you haven't done it yet and they're unproven, but which of these guys do have that type of upside in your opinion?
Well, I think Morrow's got a big upside. I think Jalix has a big upside. I thought Kaylee had a big upside, but I'm starting to waver on that.
Got any off the record conversations with AJ where you could say, "Hey, man, you told me Keely was going to be good, man. I gotta use that."
I'll have that talk, but that won't be until the locker room opens, which won't be till the week before the regular season. Used to be throughout training camp, but I digress. So that we'll definitely have that discussion, but so it depends on the position. And I mean, the guys with significant upside are Morrow, I think, Jalix and Jihad, I would say. And then everybody else is sort of a little bit lower. But those are the three guys I would say that have significant upside.
Do you think Trotter Jr. has Nakobe Dean upside or no?
No. I don't know, for whatever reason, people don't realize how well Nakobe played.
No, I do. I didn't think he did either. I just wanted to get your clarification on it.
I mean, with Nakobe, obviously it's injury. I mean, the poor guy's had some bad injury luck. But for that, and that might be all it is, that one season. But last season he was tremendous. Top 10 linebacker in the NFL, who happened to be the second best linebacker on his team.
Right.
I don't think Trotter's going to be top 10, but I think he could settle in as top 40 and be a good player, more like TJ Edwards, good player. So yeah, I don't see that kind of upside, but and remember, I mean, the bottom line is I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Campbell's going to be in there. So at that point, he's not going to play.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Jihad definitely has a massive upside, as you pointed out just a little bit ago. John, good stuff here as we continue to roll through now that the practices are in the rear view. What's coming up next for this team? I believe walkthrough tomorrow, which means me and you are morning shows, so make sure everybody's here. We'll be here 8 to 10 a.m. tomorrow. No nightcap Birds 365 tomorrow. And then a Saturday, 1 o'clock preseason game number 2. What's it look like the next couple of days here for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, you just said it. Walk through tomorrow, game on Saturday. So preseason game. Obviously, none of the starters are playing. Jordan Davis gave that up. Not that he needed to, but obviously they got all their work.
What does that mean? None of the starters. Starters aren't declared at every position.
Well, none of the entrenched.
Ringo playing, yeah, right.
None of the entrenched players are playing.
Right,
is what I should have said. But which is most of the offense, obviously. And defensively, I do think players like. It's going to be interesting. There's certain guys it's going to be interesting. Like, is Trotter going to play? I could see Trotter not playing. I could see. I don't think.
How many linebackers do they have though?
Well, you just play the whole game with Lance Dixon and Dallas Gant, that type of thing.
Monday. I imagine Munden will get some reps for sure.
Munden will get some reps. Trotter would be. I'm trying to think about it. Adoree will be interesting. Because the way it's going, man, you might want to sit him down. I expect Jacorian Bennett to get a lot of work. And,
yeah, me too. What about Tyler Steen?
No, he's not going to play.
No, yeah, he played in the first preseason game. He was actually pretty good in that first preseason game. Sounds like he's having a good camp.
Big block. He only played like 8 snaps. He had the big block on Will Shipley's big run.
Yep, I remember. Yeah, good seal block. Yeah, reminded me a little bit of that.
And then he got him out of there quick, and rightfully so. This time, I don't think he's playing this time. He's won the job, despite they will not admit it. He has won the job.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll see what happens on the Saturday preseason game. There you go. Walk through tomorrow, so no media availability. We'll be here 8 to 10 a.m. on Birds 365. John, your biggest concern dating back all the way to the end of last year when we turned the page and began to look at the 2025 Eagles has been the edge, and it's been that way all throughout. And now Jalek's now lining up a little bit more on that left side. What are you seeing from the other guys? I mean, outside of Jalix and Nolan, they were the only 2 guys that did not play in the first preseason game, assuming that they're the 2 entrenched edge rushers. What are you seeing from the rest of the group? You got Uche, you got Ojulari, you got Obo, you got a bunch of these other guys. What are you seeing there? Anybody sticking, anybody kind of standing out above the rest? Where is that position for you right now?
Well, I think Uche's played the best. Aziz made some plays really for the first time yesterday. And from what I was told, I didn't see them. That was the day I was watching the offense. Obo's been playing more than I thought he would. which I don't know if that's positive or negative. And got a lot of first team reps at right end in the red zone. So, yeah, still a concern because I just don't think they're good enough. When I see Myles Garrett out there, and again, I just don't think they're good enough.
That's a tough comp because I don't think anybody looks like him, but
yeah, but yes, it is. And as I said, one of one is one of one, but I mean, there's good pass rushers in this league, and most teams have. That's one position, and it's one position where the Eagles are probably behind most teams. There's not a lot of positions you could say the Eagles are behind most teams because it's pretty much universal in the NFL that everybody's looking for edge rushers. So everybody's got one or two who are at least competent, and most teams have one or two who are good, and some teams have two that are great.
right.
I'm very concerned about. I've been concerned. I continue to be concerned about that position. I mean, Obo was cut by the Browns. And there was a kid, I got to look him up, who's doing great on one-on-ones. Cameron Thomas. I'd love to have that guy. I don't know anything about him other than what I saw over the past 2 days, but 6'4", 265 from San Diego State. He was whipping people, and it was more combos than one-on-ones, but he was whipping people. And I'm like, who's that guy?
Abe, I can't believe you're going to make me do this, but Abe says, can we get Huff back? Did they turn the page too quick on Bryce Huff?
Well, no, because Vic didn't.
Yeah, Vic didn't like him.
Vic really they can't get him back.
They did. Vic didn't like him because Howie was willing to eat it after 1 year.
Yeah,
and move him.
And I should have asked the Cleveland writers. I meant to ask them about this Cameron Thomas, who because they cut Ogbo, and I'm like, or Obo, and I'm thinking they cut him because of this guy, but I don't know that for a fact. But he was a 3rd round pick back in 2022. I don't know. He looked pretty good. He looks the part, as they say.
Yeah. Well, I think which I think matters. Slager checks in with a question, John, and about this edge rushing group, and he says, "Are we really that diminished because Sweat and an aging Graham are off the team, and Uche and Ojulari are in? If Sweat didn't have a big Super Bowl, would we be canonizing him as much?"
Well, I don't know, Slager. I think if you're canonizing Uche and Ojulari, you damn well have to forget about. Yeah, you got to make Josh a saint because he's a lot more. He's a lot more accomplished than those two. Josh Sweat's been a good player for a long time.
Yeah. I think the thing about Josh is that he's the kind of the perfect edge for Vic. He does everything. He does everything pretty well. Doesn't do anything exceptionally well. Isn't over the top elite at everything, but I think he does everything pretty well.
Yeah. And, ever since he became a starter, which is really, Nick Sirianni's era, 2021. He's just been, I don't mention that guy with those two guys. Come on.
Are they relying, John, and maybe they're right to do this, but do you think they're just kind of banking on interior pressure here?
Well, I think they know that's their strength. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, for example, and maybe this is a bad example, but you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of money on a wide receiver 3. Or,
Well, no, because
you got great interior. We don't have the money.
You have great
on an edge.
Nolan's not AJ and Jalix ain't Devontae. So, I mean,
Carter is. That's what I'm saying. Like, are they not to conflict?
Well,
with
even
positions? I know they do
even
different things, but-
Jalen's got potential to be AJ. Potential. He's not yet. But yeah, Jalen's got off the charts potential. But even then, Morrow's not Devontae.
No, I know that, but has their confidence on the interior limited their desire to go and add a big edge rusher because they feel like they're going to get the pressure up the middle? As long as the edge rushers can set the edge and do what Vic wants them to do, drop in the flat every once in a while, and get pressure from the outside occasionally. I don't know.
Their financial position has limited them to going after a big edge rusher. That's it. If they were in a position to make, and by the way, winning the Super Bowl also, because if they didn't win the Super Bowl, if they lose that game instead of win it, and the same thing happens, you still lose Josh Sweat, Brandon retires, Huff is moving on. They're overturning every rock trying to get an edge rusher. But I brought that up before. The fact
maybe
that
Myles Garrett. Man, I'm dreaming. I wish that guy was in the middle. That'd be fun.
Well, I think he wanted to play here, to be honest.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
Well, he wanted, early when it started, he made a big thing about he wanted to win.
Right.
And he's very close with Lane. He's very close with Jordan. So I think this is certainly one of the few spots they would have wanted to play in. But as Howie said at the time, we're just not in a financial position to do it. We love the player, but we're not in a financial position to do it.
Do you have any problem with that team building philosophy?
Not after you win. If you don't win,
but you just pointed it out that they won with Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. We don't got Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham.
Well, that's the point. You don't need Myles Garrett, but you need competency at that level.
Right. And they haven't even gotten what looks like they haven't even really gotten that yet.
No, unless, Jalix, there's a lot on Jalix Hunt. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm confident in the kid, but I do think we've all maybe it went a little bit too far. I mean,
and then from that point down, whether it's Aziz and Josh and now Obo, you're just crossing your fingers. I mean, that's what that is.
Right.
I mean, that's 3 darts and hopefully one hits the bullseye.
Is it crazy to say BG? Can you BG, you got another go in you, BG?
Now, one of the things that BG showed up Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw the pictures
for the first time in training camp. Now he's moved on.
Does he look like he lost weight? Didn't look like he lost much weight to me.
No, with Jason, right away he lost so much weight. Because a lot of people say, "Will he come back?"
Yeah, right.
You
like
knew
Fletcher
right
too.
away.
I'm sure you've seen Fletcher.
Fletcher's lost a ton of weight.
Looks great. Yeah.
Fletcher's been there. Yeah, a lot. No, I don't think. And at this age, and he tore his triceps again. People forget in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Because he came back too soon. Nope. But he did a hell of a job for that team for a long time, including last year before he got hurt. And that worked out exactly as I thought. When Vic saw him, he was going to play him. And my whole thoughts process was this is his last season. Vic's actually going to play him more than he had the previous season. And he was doing that because I knew he'd love him as a player. But, I mean, everybody's got a shelf life in the NFL.
Yep. What's your confidence level on Nolan Smith, John, coming into the year? I feel like we haven't talked about him too much in camp.
Well, you don't talk about him because there's so many issues behind him.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but I am a little bit worried about he still got the big brace on.
I mean, he is the guy this year. He is the guy.
People forget he had the shoulder injury with the crazy quote. Sometimes my baby, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like people forget that now. He had that chronic shoulder problem.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons he fell to where he fell in the draft, similar to Jihad. But him is more of serious. Like with Jihad, I don't get NFL teams because his surgery was like, well, he's gonna at some point he's gonna be 100%. You might have to wait. And these morons around this league, well, we can't wait. We need to have him on the field week 1. I'm like, who gives a shit? You know, maybe that comes with the Eagles' success because I cover the Eagles. I'm like, well, who gives a shit if he's on the field week 1? So long as he's going to be a difference-making player. But in a lot of other cities that don't have success, they want players immediately. They want that immediate gratification. And that's the reason Nolan fell as well in his draft. But his is more concerning because it was chronic, and it was more of a concern long term than something like Jihad had. So a little bit of a concern. I know he's a good player. A little bit of concern of can he hold up for a full season as the centerpiece of a pass rush?
Yeah, that's a big question. We'll see if he can do that. Johnny Mac, John, good stuff. I got a couple other comments on the practice. Let me get to Damon Knight. What's up, Damon? You've been supporting us a bunch, man. We thank you very much. He says, what's up, Z and J Mac? I'm late. Just wanted to show my support. Got to go back and watch the show from the beginning. Keep up the great work. First hour, we recapped everything in the practice. Not great. Browns beat up on the Birds today. Damon, thanks for being here, brother. John, how about Landon Dickerson today carrying the beer out onto the field for the O-linemen from both teams to share in some Miller Lights after practice? I thought that was great.
Yeah, I saw Landon coming out, and I'm like, I think I was the first one to get the picture in the damn freaking boy. There were so many people over the past 2 days down there, the Wi-Fi, and you got to turn off your Wi-Fi and put on the phone, and it's like it doesn't anyway, but I told Ed, I said, Landon's out there, man. He's moving better than me a day off of surgery, which is depressing. But yeah, he's an amazing dude as far as the toughness comes. I'm sure the beers help him, but he was moving pretty good to the point, you say week 1. Yeah, I'm no doctor, but from the guy moving today, it would shock me if he's not out there week 1. So that's been a big story this week. Is it going to be Brett Toth or is it going to be Darian Kennard?
Right.
I think it would be Darian Kennard, but I think it's going to be Landon Dickerson. And I maybe the Eagles are cautious because that's a guy who's going to play. If you give him the opportunity, he's going to play. He's going to drag his leg out there. So maybe you want to be cautious. Maybe it would be more prudent to be cautious, but he's going to try to play. I'll tell you that.
And just, I think, knowing that surgery, like N'Kobe, you always bring up, yeah, he might feel good, but that surgery takes time. I feel like Landon's surgery is still surgery, but we do know it's not as structural changing, things like that. So he might really be able to go week 1.
Yeah, it's only, for an athlete, it should only be 3 to 4 weeks, trim, a meniscus trim. But
he's confirmed that's what he got, or is that still just speculated?
Well, he wouldn't be back if he got it. It has to be. It's one of those. No, it's not been confirmed, but he wouldn't be back if he had a full meniscus. That's a 3, 4, 5 month injury where he would, even being as tough as he is, he would have a very difficult time playing in the regular season at all.
Right. Yep, good stuff there. I thought that was pretty cool to have Landon come out there with the beers. Good stuff on that front. John,
I think it's pretty cool, by the way, because Cleveland has had a tremendous offensive line for a long time, and those guys have so much respect for each other. And some of those guys are getting older, but Batonio and Conklin and Wyatt Teller, they're good, and they had those guys. Like you see all those guys together, they're guys with Lane and Jordan and Landon and a lot of offensive line talent.
No doubt. Good over. How'd the Eagles D line fare against them? overall? Just 2 days camp done.
Yeah, I think they did. I didn't have any complaints about the defensive front for the most part. You know, they got beat pretty good today, but most of the issues were, I would say, in the back seven
Right.
versus the front. But you can always, if they get home a little bit quicker, you don't have that problem on the back end.
Yeah,
So you
right.
can look at it. You can look at it both ways. So.
That's where that edge rusher conversation comes in so big, though, John. It's like it's kind of a both things are, they could make each other worse this year, as opposed to if you have great secondary, maybe they help out your weak edge rushers, or vice versa. You got great edge rushers, they help out that secondary. Well, you got a weakness at secondary, you got a weakness on the edge. It's almost like a compounding issue that could kind of run away if you don't have good enough players.
Yeah. It's, I keep saying it. People get sick of it, but they lost a lot of good players on defense.
They did. They lost a lot of good players. No doubt about it. Good stuff. ZM becomes a member. Thank you, ZM. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate that very much. All of our members for coming on board right now. John, who stuck out from the Browns? All right, outside of Myles Garrett, you just got to watch two practices with another team. You've done, 14 or 15 of them with I think what's today? 14, right? Day 14 for the Eagles? Or is it day
15? 15.
Damn, is it day 15?
Yeah. Jerry Judy's the guy I mentioned. Very good player. I do like, I mentioned Cameron Thomas. He's somebody under the radar who impressed me. Schlesinger looks like he's going to be a good player. He was their second round pick, but the first pick in the second round. They have an undersized running back. I have to look him up. Who was part of the gadget plays. Who looks like he's got good sort of manufactured touch ability. Dylan Sampson, I thought played pretty well. Denzel Ward's always impressive, and Njoku is just a beast. So those are, and the offensive line. Wyatt Teller's like, I always say with the Browns, because I've seen them so much over the past few years, that Myles Garrett and David Njoku are the bus players. I should have added Wyatt Teller to that list.
Yeah.
Those are the three guys you let off the bus first. You go, oh shit.
Myles is insane, obviously, and Njoku is too. But why Teller, add him in? Good stuff on that front, Johnny Mac. Always good players in the NFL, obviously, as you know, and we talk about that all the time. But interesting always to bring in some new players for you to see and to kind of compare them, to where the talent level of the Eagles is. It does look like this is a more talented team than them, right?
Oh yeah. But like I said, the NFL is funny because I think the say from 10 through 53 NFL rosters are like really close to each other.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's what most, fans don't understand. Like even the worst teams are have a bunch of good players. And you usually set yourself apart with, your top tier talent. But like the Browns, I mean, if the Browns, who are considered one of the poorer teams in the NFL, if they figured out quarterback, they'd be a playoff team like tomorrow. Literally tomorrow. Not saying they'd win the Super Bowl, but they'd be a playoff team. If they had a top 10 level quarterback, they'd be in the playoffs. And they're considered they're considered one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah. Is Flacco going to be the starter, you think?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the other guys can't get on the damn field. All the young guys. See, the 40-year-old guy is out there every day. I talked about that yesterday. Kenny's got a hamstring. Gabriel's got a hamstring. Shador's throwing pre-practice, and he strains his oblique. Joe's out there having coffee, going out there every day. Something to that. Got to learn to play through stuff. which I think a lot of younger players don't learn that because everything's so cautious now. They have a different mentality, which is, oh, I'm not feeling right, so I can't go out there. And as everybody, Jordan was talking, because Jordan's banged up, Jordan Mailata, and he's like, everybody's dealing with something, so you better get out there if you want to contribute. That's at any position, any team.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Joe's going to win that job by default. Well, he's also the best quarterback they have.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's going to be, nobody wants to play a 40-year-old guy. But the other guys took themselves out of the competition.
Yep. We'll see what ends up happening. Excuse me. We'll see what ends up happening with that, Johnny Mac. The Browns this year. Wrapping up here, joint practice number 2. You mentioned, John, you think if they're playing tomorrow, Dory Jackson's going to be the outside cornerback. That doesn't inspire confidence in me at all at that position. Do you think he's ready? What have you seen from him? I haven't heard much about him, honestly, outside the games and outside that he keeps getting first-team reps. Does he look?
Well, I think Eagles fans should hope a Dory Jackson plays because he's clearly the best of the bunch.
Yeah, but doesn't that also show that the position is a pile of dog shit?
Maybe, but I mean, you can only play who you have, and he's the best. And if you're not picking him, it's not a meritocracy. You're just trying to, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you play young players because Jim used to do that a lot. Jim Schwartz, get the startup costs out of the way. And you're going to struggle for a while, but hopefully they come out of it and get over the hump. So there's different ways to do it, but if you're, and the Eagles obviously are a Super Bowl contender and they're trying to win games, if you're, playing your best corner, it's right now it's Adoree Jackson opposite Quinyon Mitchell. Ringo's not even getting second team reps today, and Jacorian Bennett looks like he was on the Raiders. For anybody thinking that was some magic solution. Now we just got here.
Yeah, I know. You can't. It's too early yet to say it, but I'm worried that trade wasn't worth it.
Well, I'm not going to go that far because Thomas Booker's not going to play, and I love Thomas.
Depth matters, John. Injuries happen in the league, and one guy goes down.
They got plenty of at defensive tackle. They'll be fine, but whether it's Gabe Hall or Byron Young or Ty Robinson, they'll be fine. But so I don't have a problem with the trade, but I saw many fans saying, he's going to step in and he's going to fix it. Well, if he is going to fix it, it's going to take a while. Because the guy who showed up is not ready to play. Which, by the way, he shouldn't be ready to play. He just got here. I mean, he's learning a completely new defense. But, hasn't been great.
Concerning there, John. We'll see how it all shakes out. We'll take our final commercial break of the night right now. Good show today. Wrapped up our joint practice number 2. Now getting ready for preseason game number 2. We'll kind of take a look at that, the preseason game. Think about, who might play, who might not play, and what to look for in a game like that as we get closer to the regular season. Kind of moving into, John, the preseason game number 1 they're not fun, but it's a little fun because it's the first one. By the time preseason game 3 gets here, you're like, holy shit, give me some regular.
Oh, my God. You have no idea because it's going to be up the turnpike. It's going to be in MetLife Stadium. Ugh. And it's the Jets.
All right, let's get our commercial break. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll be right back in 3 minutes. We got about 19 minutes left to play, so we'll have another 15-minute segment coming up next on Birds 365.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Thursday nightcap edition of Birds 365, wrapping up the second joint practice with the Eagles and the Browns today. We got about 15 minutes left to play. We'll recap the practice one more time here to close out the show. John,
Do I have to?
John, fair to say the Browns kicked the shit out of the Eagles today at practice?
No, I think that's going too far.
All right.
But
All right.
they did outperform the Eagles. But I don't know what the Eagles are trying to accomplish, but I know it wasn't creativity offense.
Well, the positive sides for the Eagles, I think, would be Sidney Brown, who sounds like he's trending up to some extent. I don't know how much yet, but you expressed a little bit of that. I read that a couple other places. So seems like Sidney Brown's starting to maybe find his footing a little bit. Is that fair to say? Or
well, I tried to put the context. It was a lot of red zone. So,
right.
Sidney was going downhill a lot. That's what he's good at.
Yep.
So I think when you're talking about the middle of the field space, that's what you're talking about, what you're concerned about Sidney Brown. So that's why I think practice, there's a lot of context to practice. And there's an example. So he did look good, but they were doing stuff that he generally is very natural at. And that's going downhill and being physical and doing some run support. So can he chase people in the middle of the field? Is he comfortable in space in the middle of the field? Is he going to be disciplined enough for Vic Fangio? Those are all still question marks for me. But the stuff that we know he can do well, he did well today.
Good stuff, John. Joe Flacco, a bunch of touchdowns today, though. Overall, Browns offense definitely got the better of the defense. Agree?
Yeah. Now again, the touchdown aspect of it is you're in the red zone, so you're more likely to score a touchdown than if you're starting.
You're not going 80-yard drives here.
Yeah. So you're starting there. So I think that's but the Eagles were doing the same thing on the other field and didn't get any touchdowns, which, speaks to the lackadaisical offense over these 2 days. But, today Saquon sat, Lane sat, rest days. AJ's been out with a hamstring, and Landon obviously is out. So that's 4 of your, 5 best players on offense.
Yeah, right.
So, Johnny Wilson's out there, who's doing better, by the way. That's a
Any
big
other
difference.
receivers doing anything today? We didn't talk much about the receivers.
No, well, they didn't throw it more than
I know why we didn't talk about him.
Devontae had a couple Darius Cooper had a couple catches, so he's back. Johnny's had a good week, I would say, for the backup receivers. But they just don't throw the ball. They did not throw the ball downfield. Longest play over 2 days. And again, I didn't watch the offense today, but I checked with a bunch of other guys. 25 yards. Longest play over 2 days, which is ridiculous. But I don't think they're trying to stretch the field for whatever reason.
Well, I guess they really are doubling down on that. Don't practice forcing things that aren't there, basically type of offense. And if the Browns took everything away, they're just, all right, take the 4 checkdowns to A.J. Dillon in a row. I'm not sure what you get out of that, but maybe that is the rep of making the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of how they played last year, I don't blame them for, doing it again until somebody proves they can stop it, basically. And part of that is taking care of the football, which they spend a lot of time, working on, with ball security drills and those types of things. So, and even Nick talked about, what was because on Wednesday they were killing the Browns with inside zone. They ran like 15 of them, and they were killing them. Again, you don't know how far it's going to go, but they were getting big chunk yardage plays. Try to stay away from Miles a little bit.
Yeah,
and
right.
It was everybody. It was not only Saquon. It was Will. It was AJ. They were killing them. So that's the positive part of the 2 practices. But when Nick was asked about that today, he immediately defaulted to the way the backs were taking care of the football, their ball security, the way they were carrying it the correct way that they teach, which I thought was interesting, because they're hyper focused on that, which tells you again, gives you a little hint they're going to play the same way.
Yeah, right. You think this is a good question from Keese. He says, are they trying to get Hurts to start checking down more? I mean, we talked about boring the other day, and somebody brought up Brady. Brady wasn't boring, but Brady checked the ball down a lot. I think every good quarterback, knows when to check the ball down. You think they're trying to do that with Hurts or no?
Well, I think for many years they were trying to get him to check it down more to the backs.
I remember it was the same thing with Wentz, John. Remember Wentz?
Yeah.
He didn't throw a fucking check down.
Because they, with Jalen, he likes to hold on to the ball, extend the play, and get it downfield or run it himself. And, I think the mentality was just, especially now that they have Saquon, just dump it down and see what happens.
And longevity, I think, for himself as a player.
So to a certain degree, yes. But the problem was, these were not, excuse me, losing my voice. These were not checkdowns. These were design plays out to the flat. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody does it, but they did it 4 times in a row.
Yeah, it's one thing for it to be your 4th read in the progression or your 3rd. Yeah. It's if they're calling it for that, that's
it's a very simple offense. And for some reason, when I say that, and it's been that way for a long time, which is not an insult, but it is. Like, I know people don't want it to be, but it is compared to other offenses.
Right
now, hey, they're more successful, so who cares? If you got better players, you don't need to run hook and ladders.
It's true. It's true. There's truth to that too. John, preseason game coming up. Who do you think the most notable names who will play in it are? You think like Sidney Brown would play? I would assume Ringo, Bennett, and probably Adoree would play. Maybe not Adoree. Who do you think the most notable names will be to watch in that game?
Well, certainly, most of the competition players are going to play. And if they don't, that's an indication they've won the job. So I
Right.
think first look at Sydney and Adoree, because if they don't play, that's an indication they've won the jobs.
Right.
Certainly Ringo's going to play, certainly Rick, certainly Bennett, certainly Mac McWilliams, certainly Makuba.
McWilliams seems to be coming along nicely, or at least better than expected for a fifth round.
Well, I think he was coming along well in the slot, but now that they've moved him back outside, I think he's not been nearly as good.
Yeah. Well, fifth round rookie, he's going to take. I mean, it's going to take some time for sure.
Yeah. Well, he's more natural. I mean, he played outside mostly in college, but I think he was really starting to come on as the backup slot, and I think he'll end up back there inside. I think Vic's just trying to get him reps, and maybe he's trying to send a message to Kaylee Ringo, as I said today. But and then be on the lookout for the edge rushers and how they use them, particularly Obo. I keep going back to Obo, because he's playing more than I expected. It'll be interesting to see if they play Campbell. I think he might cross over. Not worry about playing him. Trotter, I think he might cross over. I think it might be a Lance Dixon game.
Right.
Dallas Gant game. But yeah, some of those are the guys I'd keep an eye on. Offensively, you have to get some reps for Brett Toth and Darian Kennard, certainly. They're going to play a lot, I would think. And then, everybody else isn't going to play. Everybody else is entrenched.
Yep, I agree. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of with Abe. Abe says Abe says everyone that played in the Bengals game should play. I agree, Abe. I think that's true as well. I don't think any of those guys that played in that game are entrenched players and should be riding the bench for the preseason game. Go and win the job. Eduardo checks in, John. Here we go. John, did you get a chance to have a beer with Landon?
No, I was not invited. When it's Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson and Joel Batonio and Jack Conklin, yeah, I'm not going to stick my head in that one.
No. Are you a Miller Lite guy?
No, but I am. I don't care. I drink any light. I am a light beer guy.
Okay, you're a light beer guy.
I'm not a beer nerd. I'm not a beer like an IPA guy, like those. And by the way, if you're not, no offense, but you're annoying.
John, I agree.
All those holier than that. Oh, you got to try that. No, I don't. Yeah, I'll drink my Bud, Coors. Yeah, I usually drink Yingling Light.
Yingling, I could see that. There was a couple guesses in the chat of what you would be drinking. Boxed wine for Johnny Mac.
No, well, I'm a gin guy.
Hazy IPA. Here you go. You just chirped Jack Straw. Hazy IPAs. I'm good with piss beer. That Jack's.
Yeah. So that's what all Jack Straw's like. All IPA people like. Oh, I drink this. I drink the great beer. You drink piss beer. Yeah, you're annoying. You're annoying, Jack Straw. Shockingly, with no avatar.
Oh, Jack's a great supporter, getting shredded right now by Johnny Mac.
No, but liquor. If Bombay Sapphire wants to give me some free liquor, I'm a gin guy.
No, you like gin. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Little gin and tonic. Is that the move or what?
Yep.
There you go, Johnny Mac. Now I know what to get you for Christmas next year. I'm gonna say, boom, give John a fat gin for Christmas. All right, Johnny Mac, good show tonight, brother. Getting ready for this preseason game coming up Saturday. So the players are to walk through tomorrow, right? They're not off, but it is a walkthrough.
Yeah, they're having a game on Saturday. Yeah, it's walkthrough day. You don't practice the day before a game.
Yeah, so walkthrough day tomorrow night. John, good stuff. We'll let you get out of here a couple minutes early tonight. Well done tonight, my friend, and we'll catch you in the morning on Birds 365 right around 12 hours from now. You got 12 hours and 5 minutes till I'm annoying you again.
All right, let's do it again. I gotta get. I don't know if I'm getting somebody to get up tomorrow, so everybody's taking the day off. So if you got anybody, let me
All right.
know.
I'll try and reach out to somebody today. All right, John. Thank you, brother. Good stuff.
All right, see you guys. Thank you.
Johnny Mac. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen joining us here on Birds 365. Great show tonight. Wrapping up the joint practice number 2. Eagles didn't have a good one today, folks. All right. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it like John. Fucking Eagles got destroyed today at practice. He won't tell you, and I will. All right. Eagles got shit on today. The offense got burnt and the defense got burnt. I mean, how else do you want me to slice it? That they did good? Here comes Prince. Oh my God, these guys cry about everything. No, Prince, I do a talk show every single day. The Eagles got throttled by the shitty Browns in practice. What are they serving over there in the morning? They got coffee in the morning? What are they drinking? Chai tea? Lattes? Chai lattes? Jack, man. I hate to do it to you, brother. But Johnny Mac, man, he fucking put you in a blender, my boy. I mean, he put you in a blender. Kimberly says, Z, better they get crushed. Oh, look at this. The curmudgeon is telling me to come off the ledge. The curmudgeon is telling me to come off the ledge. You're right. You're right. You're right. All right. Browns QB today was Flacco, I think, was shredding him. Although I did hear that, what's that kid's name? Dylan Gabriel had a touchdown pass as well. Bird Gang Girl says, been about 10 years since I touched booze. Good job, Bird Gang Girl. I'm not a drinker either. I don't judge people that drink at all, but don't let it become a problem, obviously. But I'm not a big drinker. I've just never really cared for it. I didn't even care for it in college. It just wasn't. I didn't fucking like it. All right. All right. Jack says he wasn't fucking around. Dude's got some pent-up aggression. Jack taking some shots back. Jack taking some shots back, baby. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Bruce says, I hate that sober fucker at the bar. I don't go to the bar, so I'm not that guy. I just don't go. Bruce, you can't get me in a bar. I hate bars. Celia says, no bars with dudes. I say I'm good on bars altogether. Not my crowd. I'm good. Y'all have fun. Y'all enjoy the night. All right. All right, Bruce. Enjoy your little kick flip and your fucking bar, my friend. You won't catch me there. All right. Fucking A. This guy Bruce. Curtis says, I wish somebody in the secondary would effing stand out, but our team is still loaded with talent. All right. Well, Curtis, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, my friend. I mean, Keely Ringo really seems like he stinks. Look, I know people are like, yo, give him some time. I hear you. I'm not trying to put the guy in a box. I'm not trying to put a ceiling in the player. All right. It just seems like he fucking stinks. I don't know. I don't know. The guy doesn't seem like he can play. He didn't play any first team reps today now. 15 practices into camp. We're in a off season where presumably the Eagles did everything they could to put him in front of the line to go and win the job. And we've resulted at practice 15 to him not even getting a first team rep. And Ja'Cory Bennett and Adoree Jackson are splitting him. I'm not here to try and shit on players. All right. I don't play the game at a high level. I'm not the arbiter of what makes them good, but I got to talk about it. And Keely Ringo seems like he fucking is not the guy. Just not cut out for this. It's a tough league, man. It's not an insult. It's hard to play in this league. All right. Jack, yes, you should do that. Why wouldn't you do that? Are you kidding me, dude? If that's an option, Jack, what the hell? Oh, I'm still waiting on the pick of Zandy or the dog. That was his name, right? The dog's name, Zandy? Something. I know it was something, but something like my name. All right. Uh-oh. Don't tell me my mouse just died. My fucking mouse. And I got the Apple mouse, so you can't fucking use it when it's plugged in. All right. I got at least a couple more minutes on the show tonight because I got to charge this mouse before I can end the show. I can't end the show right now if I wanted. The mouse is dead. The mouse is stone cold dead. All right. I can't click a comment. Curtis, your comment's stuck on the screen. All right. I cannot click the comment. Stupid mouse died on me, man. Don't they give me a notification? Your mouse has 5% left? I mean, come on, man. Stupid mouse. My mouse is still more useful than Ringo. Brian, I'd pull that comment up if the thing was at all more useless. Tyler Braswell says Apple's trash. It is, and I got my cart on Apple right now is 6 Gs. It's depressing. I got to buy new computers because these things are crapping out. They're not handling it. So I gotta buy a new car. I gotta buy new computers. I'm at $6,000 in the cart. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't want to fucking spend $6,000 on Apple. Are you kidding me? I know it's a business write-off, but shit, still means the money's coming out of the account, folks. 6 Gs on Apple. The computers don't work as good as they used to. They're more expensive than they've ever been. Now, I don't think I'm moving to Intel key. I don't know, man. I'm too entrenched at this point, which is the problem. You know, here's all the people who will say, oh, look what Apple did. They sucked you in. They're right. They did. You're right. They did. You know, the problem with Apple right now, my brother tells me this all the time because he's in that tech AI world, starting businesses and, you know, working on those things that are really trying to advance. You know, he's using materials for all sorts of different things. And he's like, Apple doesn't innovate anymore. It's what everyone talks about in his world. You know, Meta's trying to innovate. Meta's spending a bunch of money to try and bring in new people. So SC Bird says you own JAKIB. The sports channel is now 100% my company. It is 100%. Yep. Me and my dad started. Me and my dad share the holding company here. He started JAKIB Media a long time ago, and we still have JAKIB Media, which operates in other realms. We got a bunch of legal shows, so we're launching a whole new legal platform this year that you guys probably won't see, but in Florida lawyers. So that's kind of the bigger company. But the JAKIB Sports, which is this channel, is my baby. Yes, it is. So thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Your bro hiring, B. Preston. With all due respect to you, dude, hey, maybe you are actually. I don't, maybe I shouldn't say that, but this guy hires people that are like next level geniuses. You know what I mean? Like he's hiring engineers. He's hiring people that are creating the materials needed to make hypersonic missiles and shit. I don't know. Maybe that's you. Is that you? I'd be something. I mean, I wouldn't know that. Maybe it is you, B. I wasn't trying to chirp at you, but different world. Probably a lot of Asians. Yeah, no disrespect to Asians. They're smart people, very smart people. All right. Twiz, you out of here later, Twiz. Appreciate you. All right, I think I got 1% left on my mouse. Let me get Curtis's shitty comment off my screen. B. Preston says, no, sir, I don't know how to build an effing missile. That's what I assumed, B, but you never know. This is what I assumed, all right? All right, Kimberly, what the heck? You got to send me an email. Her discount, how much? Apple doesn't give, they're notorious for not giving discounts. Abe says, I can't build missiles. I'm ashamed. Abe, you're not ashamed. Are you kidding me? Don't say that about yourself. That's some nasty self-talk. I don't appreciate it. Holy shit, I haven't had a bowl of cereal. And Bird Gang Girl says, I just grabbed me a bowl of Trix. Is that your cereal? Is that your top cereal there? Bird Gang Girl, I shipped you 2 shirts today. All right, so where's Philly Don? Philly Don, shut up, Philly Don, if you're listening. Shut up, Philly Don. All right, Philly Don? I know, Jack. You told me that. It's all good, bro. You're good, man. I appreciate you. But if you want to anonymously send those things, I'll take them. I'll use them. I'll test them out. I'll let you know if your shit's any good. All right. All right. Brian, what do I owe you? Because I'm sending the shit out this week. I knew I owed some more people some shit. Hollywood, you didn't win shit. I did have Fleming on my list, though. I sent Bird Gang Girls today. I didn't know who else got what. I do have Brian Fleming Super Bowl t-shirt. Ready? Ah! Brian, you noodlehead. What size is you? Bird Gang Girls went out today. Brian, what size is your ass? Where is this knucklehead? This motherfucker. I knew I listen, this shit got stuffed in the closet and I haven't touched it in months. I still got it, but look how many I still got. All right. Which one did you say you wanted? That's an XL. This is a got the W XL. We got Super Bowl champions. Let me give I don't want any of this. This is a large. Which one do you want, dude? You want gray, black, medium? Bird Gang Girl, I sent you a small and a medium because I only had one small left. So I only had one small left. So I know I told you I was gonna. Oh, this one's cool, Brian. I'll give you this one. Yeah, this one's cool. Super Bowl champs. Large. That's a large. I can send you this one, Brian. Let me look what else I got. Double XL. Where my big body dudes at? Oh my goodness. More 2XLs. More 2XLs. All right, I got a lot of shirts here, folks. XL. Got the W. Large. All right, I got some options for Brian. We're going to let Brian pick. Brian, I'll ship it tomorrow. I got this shit out, all right? I finally got this shit out. There's another got the W. I already got one of those over there. Any more signature shirts? Bird Gang Girl, I think you got the last signature shirt. That shirt was fire. Here's the classic Super Bowl champion shirt that they wore in the field. Oh, here's another signature shirt. And here's a LIX large. Oh my gosh, I got a lot of shirts. Who wants these? Get your memberships in. Who wants these things? I got more Eagles Super Bowl shirts here than I know what to do with. I got about 25 at least here, probably. There's a large. Here's a medium. XL. Large. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Brian, you were at the game, right? Hey, if I owe you a care pack, I know I do. I'm going to send you that too. I owe people shit. I know. I've given away a lot of shit. Honestly, the only bad part about the giveaways is it's a full-time fucking job to ship all the shit out. I hand print all the labels. I bring them to the post office. I do everything for them. All right, there's 1, 2, 3. Let's count these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put them in this box. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 shirts. 21, 22, 23 shirts left. 23 shirts left. Brian, I think I'm going to, you want got the W? Yeah, that's right, Brian. I remember. Bro, is got the W good? Take it or fucking leave it, Brian. I'm kidding. I'll pick whatever large you want. I don't know. Brian, I'll send you two, too. All right, for making you wait. All right, I'll send you two. I'll send you 2 larges for making your ass wait. The grade's actually kind of cool, but I'm not going to send. You know, I might toss a second one in, and it'll be great. Josh B., you're the other guy on my list. What the heck did you win that I didn't send you? I know you won a couple things last year, and I did get you some of it, but I do owe you something. I do owe you something, Josh. Do you remember what it is? What the hell is it, Josh? The hell is it? Let me know. I thought Josh B. I thought you were. I thought you were, Josh. I'm waiting for your response. Matt Diaz says I'd buy a jersey and a shirt. All right, I think I got the jersey, don't I? Look, I got it all out today. All right. Josh, what size jersey are you? You guys remember Brandon Howard? All right. Obviously, you know Brandon Howard, but he won the jersey last year, but one of the jerseys, remember, in custom sent it back to me, and I couldn't figure. I said it 3 times. Look, it's still got a Z note in there. It's the Cooper DeJean black and pale green. I got a regular coupe. This is a 2XL. Who's a 2X? I might give this fucking thing away right now. Cooper DeJean 2X. Medium. Ooh. Yeah, this is why I never said it, Josh. That's right. I only have an XL. That's it. You want it or you want me to wait? I did talk to my jersey guy, so I'm going to get new ones in. I know I owe you one. I only have an XL. Saquon with the Super Bowl patch. Saquon with the Super Bowl patch. XL. Take it or leave it, Josh, but if you do leave it, I'll get you one when I go back to my guy. But I won't have them until the season. I can wait. Yeah, all right, that's fine. Thanks for being patient, Josh. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. All right. Braswell's a 2XL. Braswell, I got some shit for you, brother. All right, I'll do some giveaways. I'm not going to do any tonight, but I will do some. Brian, I'm happy you said something. Bird Gang Girl, I'm happy I sent your shit. Also, I got to keep one of these. Sorry, guys. I got 5 of them. I'm going to give away the other 4, but I'm keeping this. I'm keeping this. Look at these. These are dope, dude. Just classic green with the Super Bowl logo. And it says champions. It's not just the logo. Yeah, Big Mike. That was one of my favorite songs as a kid. I said, I'm sorry, mama. Oh. Oh. Damn. Fredo, I don't know you shit. You didn't fool me. Damn, this hat is nice. You guys are looking like Big Z looks fire in that motherfucker. Right? All right, I got 4 of them. I'll give them away. You know what sucks about the hats? Let me tell you something that sucks about these hats. All right? I shipped the stuff in envelopes. Prince, you won a jersey last year. I remember because I know your name. I know your government name, Prince. Prince, don't make me, Prince. You won a jersey last year. You won the jersey last year, Prince. And I sent that shit. No, they're not fitted, Cody. Snapback. Tiny ass little snap. Got the snapback. Now it's too big. I got a big ass noggin. These are big hats. All right. Prince, don't play with me, dude. All right. Fucking Prince. Prince. Yeah, Bird Gang Girl, I drove up to the post office today and the vet dropped it off to you. It says it should deliver by Saturday, but who knows? I don't know if they shipped it or not. All right. All right. All right, so I owe Brian. I got his large out. Let me get his large out. This is it. Leave it to me to put Brian's large back away. Oh, no, it's here. Brian, I'm going to give you a gray shirt with your black shirt, and you're going to like it. All right, 2 larges. There you go for Brian. 2 larges. I got 21 shirts left to give away. All right. If you're not a member, I don't know why you're not a member. No other channel supports their people like this. Now, you guys support me. It's all that's why I do it. But still, I like to give back to the people. All right, so this is why I hate these, because I ship in these little padded envelopes. And guess what doesn't fit in a padded envelope? A nice, perfectly bent, good shape, good everything hat. Doesn't fit. And then you crush it. So you got to get like a big box. And you got to put like bubble wrap in it. It's like, oh, fucking it. You got to be kidding me. So I don't know. I might save the hats for in person. I'll toss them out. You ever seen the video of Donald Trump at one of his rallies? Just that's me. That's me with the Super Bowl. Damn, this hat is fire, dude. I gotta rock this hat more. This hat goes crazy. This hat goes crazy. All right. All right. '49ers fan, and for some reason I support Zander more than Grant Cohn. LOL, Hogan, I love you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. All right. Brian ain't getting shit now. No, he is. He's getting 2 shirts. What do you mean? Getting 2. He's just getting a gray, too. All right, he's just getting a gray. How do I get that 2XL coupe jersey? Are you a Legend member? I'm going to give that away to a Legend member. Oh, nice, Bird Gang Girl. I shipped that thing today. Good stuff. Z, that hairline's looking like Ringo. Really? Damn. Yeah, I guess it is, guys. Well, dude, I've been wearing a hat all day, so it like parts in the middle, and then it like looks like there's a bald spot right there, but it's actually not really a bald spot. But yeah, whatever, dude. You know, I left the house last weekend, guys. I'll tell you this. I left the house for the first time in I think over a year without a hat on. If you can believe that, I did. I left the house for the first time in a very long time without a hat on. Okay? Do I have a picture of me out of the house and no hat? No, I don't. I do not. It didn't feel good. I didn't like it at all. In fact, I actually went to my car and put a hat on. All right. Brian, love you too, buddy. Appreciate you. All right. He said your hairline's playing 10 yards off the ball. That's pretty funny. My hairline's a Dory Jackson. Dia, why Dia wants to send me the money. Dia, why don't you just buy a hat if you want to buy it? What's that? That ruins the fun, Dio. He's like, I'll buy a shirt from you. Dude, there's like a website that sells them. Dio, I love you, but like there's a website that sells them, bro. Xander holding on to the dream. Dude, I don't give a shit about this hair, bro. I do not. I do not give a shit, I promise. I really don't. My girl looks at me and she says, I love you, baby. I said, I love you too, baby. Thank you. But Hollywood Hogan, babe, Hollywood Hogan say he doesn't like it. What should I do? Babe, what should I do? Hogan say he doesn't like my hair. The princess doesn't like my hair. Shut up. John Cena gave in for hair plugs. Did he? I'm not doing fucking hair plugs. God, not over my dead body. Not over my cold, dead body would I wear fake hair. Fake hair. You got to be kidding me, man. All right? You got to be kidding me. My eyes. Put that hairline away, my boy. My hair is cash, Eduardo. My hair is fucking cash. Oh, I ordered some Kangos this week. Finally. I haven't ordered a Kangos in a minute. I needed it. So I'm waiting for them suckers to deliver. Drop back on the red. To finish out the show tonight. Woo! You have to be a sassy ass man. Me, I'm not sassy. So we balding fucking Z. Love it. All right. Can you imagine Xander with a toupee? No. All right. Surgical says, yo, I just heard John say Hurts played better there in 23, bro. The defense sucked in 23 because they went 3 and out all the time. Look back at 23, it was bad. Yeah, but he was saying Jalen was better in 23. I don't know, Surgical. What do you think? By the way, thanks for the big super chat, bro. $20. Appreciate it very much. Braswell, look at this. He's one of our top members. 30 months. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. I'm a double XL. Braswell, I got to get you something. Actually, Braswell, let me get you something. 30 months. I think that's a shirt. Here we go. You guys are watching it happen. This is where Xander builds up his to-do list before he's ready to do it. I'm going to give away a shirt to Braswell. Add him to the list, baby. Add him to the list. Let me find Braswell a t-shirt. Here, 2XL. Braswell, DM me your address, will you? I'll ship it to you tomorrow. I'm going to leave it out of the box with Brian Fleming shit. All right? I'm going to leave it out of the box. Braswell, you deserve a shirt, and you message me. Braswell, you got me on Twitter, Instagram. What do you got me on? What do you got me on, brother? What do you got me on? What do you got me on? I thought you had me on something, if I'm not mistaken. Jalen sucked. He was hurt. Surgical checking in. Holy moly. Surgical came in with a hammer. Jalen was hurt in 23. He blew. No, well, he didn't. It wasn't graded that awful. But I don't know, Surgical. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to let John talk. Dude. Guy wants to say some shit. Sometimes you just got to let him talk. All right. Zay, we are all holding you accountable. You need a kid's medium. Kimberly, what size are you? You small? If I get you a small, you wouldn't be able to fit in a. You do look small. I can't see you much in your profile picture, but you look like you're tiny. All right? You look like you're tiny. So that's a good thing, Kimberly. That's a good thing. All right? LOL, you're right. I know, Surgical. I've been dealing with him for over a year on the show. All right. Sometimes you gotta just let J-Mac ramble on. Need me a gray Kango. Which ones you like? The backwards ones, the forward ones, or what? You like the black and white print? That's my favorite one, dude. How about the bucket in the black and white? How about the bucket in the black and white? I fucking love this hat. I love this hat. You guys got to understand. Texas T, do I owe you too? Let me see this. Wait, I don't have you on my list. I got you with a check mark next to it. Oh, no. Wait. Did you win multiple Texas T? You did, right? Yeah, you won the 2 hats originally. All right. Yeah, I owe you the JAKIB pack too. All right, I got to do that. That's cold hard cash. So I got it. I'll order that. All right. That's cold hard cash for Texas T. My bad, Texas T. All right, you guys got to understand something that's hilarious. All right. Sometimes being the Don, all right, sometimes being the Alpha OG, you know, people peck at the lion. People peck at the lion. All right. I'm out there. All right. I walk over to my girl's place. They're this regular family, you know. I come up in a fucking backwards Kango hat with this bucket hat in the car. They're like, what the fuck are you wearing, man? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't need your fucking approval. I don't need anybody's approval. All right? Look at Bruce. I wouldn't wear that, Bruce. I wouldn't wear a thing you told me what to wear, Bruce. All right? I wouldn't wear a thing you told me what to wear. Wait, are you the guy that drives a Subaru? Yeah, I definitely would have listened to your ass. Fucking guy. Yo, go whip your Subi, all right? Go whip your Subi. I don't need advice. Thank you, though. Exactly, Sig Lord. Exactly. Oh man, it's funny. I don't know. You know, a lot of people go through life they need approval from everybody, man. I've learned that. The more I experience shit, I'm like, man, so many people just want approval from everybody. I've never for a day in my life needed approval from anybody on any of the decisions I make. But I guess not everybody thinks about life like that. I don't know. I didn't realize that until I got older. Fact, Xander. Bruce Banner got no swag. Nah, he ain't got no swag. He's got no swag. Bruce knows it too. That's why he's quiet. That's why he went quiet on me. He's at the bar right now with dudes. All right. He's at the bar with dudes. He's at the bar with dudes in his Subaru. I'm just messing with you, Bruce. All right. Imagine Xander and a black dude. I don't think I can pull that off, Philadelphia. I don't think I can pull that off. Although I don't know, man. I could probably pull off anything. I can pull off anything, Philadelphia. I can pull off anything. All right? I can pull off anything. I'm excited for my new order to come. Tyrese says, do shows with Sills. That's the best shit. Tyrese, I do it every day. I was on with him today. Tyler, thank you, brother. I'll send you a shirt. Xander can hey, my bald ass head ain't getting nothing, all right? I told you guys, though. Where are my black listeners right now? I told you guys. The only way to turn this hair into a cut that looks all right that we've worn out of the house is a black barber, all right? That's it. That's my only chance. Or a Mexican barber. A Mexican barber would do the trick too, all right? I think at least. You guys ever seen those reels on – did you guys ever see those reels on social media of, like, the barbers? And they do, like, you know, before and after. I'm like, man, I need to go to one of them dudes, man. Give me a fucking fresh cut. What can you do for me, my friend? Although they might look at me and be like, my brother in Christ, give it up. Give it up, man. I got the shaver. You want me to just take it off? Prince says no more supercuts. Prince, supercuts. Try the bathroom right there with a classic, WAHL. I don't even know how to say the name. With a wall trimmer. All right? I cut my hair myself, dude. Puerto Ricans. There you go, Philadelphia. Are they better than the Mexican barbers? All right. I'll have to go to the Puerto Ricans. All right. I don't know though. I'm leaning toward a brother. I'm leaning toward a brother. All right. That's what I think I need. Although Keese, all right, is going to a Puerto Rican. So maybe I don't know. You guys let me know. All right. Texas T says, why isn't Simmons getting signed anywhere? I'm truly wondering if Howie is telling him to hold on for us. I keep seeing safeties being signed. Texas T, it's a fair question. I don't know. I do wonder if people think he's done though. Surgical says, bro, I got you. Black barbers don't know how to use scissors. All right, man. Somebody send me in the right direction. Actually, I don't really care. My hair's done anyway. I'd rather wear Kangos. I'd rather wear hats, folks. I'd rather wear hats. All right. I'd rather wear hats. Abe says, I need a fresh cut for the post-game show. You do, brother. Definitely get a fade from a brother. There you go, Cody Bay. That's a stang in the chat, in the picture. Nice, Cody. Nice stang, dog. All right. Nice high to low fade with the Stephen A. Smith on top. That is classic, man. That is classic. You guys are funny, bro. You guys are funny people. All right. You guys are funny people. That's funny. Zander in a do-rag would look like Malibu's Most Wanted. I don't know, man. I think I might be able to pull it off. I might try. People on the internet might try and cancel me who don't know me. All right. All right. Oh, Cody, you sold it to buy a boat? Cody, can I tell you that's a shitty move, Cody. Unless you were going. All right, unless you're coming back for a GT 500. That's what I want right now. My ZK's Garage. I'm dropping a new video tomorrow. On ZK's Garage. I'm excited for that. Braswell, I got your DM. I'm going to send your shirt out. I'll send your shirt out. All right. Don't be on my ass if it takes me a day or two. Jeez. Bird Gang Girl was very patient with me. Wake boat. Okay, you got a wake boat. That's funny. Boats are black hole. Yeah, kind of cars are too, dude. I mean, if you like cars, cars can be too. Jason says, my wife trims me up every 5-6 weeks. She uses to own her own shop. She's good and the price is right. Oh, there you go, Jason. Good for you, dude. Good for you. Hollywood says, Xander, just pay the $8K and get your hair fixed. Then use your own hair now. I'm good, Hogan. I don't need it, dude. I think I'd rather just not have to worry about my hair every day. You wake up sometimes and I woke up and go to church on Sunday and be like, oh, look at it. Oh, I gotta fix my fucking hair. My hair is a hair. It's so annoying. I'm done with it. Get me, take it off, please. I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. Don't forget me when you blow up, Zay. I will never forget my people, Big Preston. All right. Hogan, that's called being bald. It is. All right. That's funny. Here's Daryl. He says, Big G, I like that. How are you when I go to get my hair cut and the person cut the hair asks, what do you want done? I tell them it's your choice. Do what you want to do. That's a bold move. But I hear you. If you get the right barber, it's actually a good move. All right. It's actually a good move if you have the right barber. But if you got a stiff who doesn't know what they're doing, it does not work. All right. Prince. Oh, Prince. Prince. Sometimes your comments are too funny for me to read because I'll just spend the next 10 minutes laughing. Prince, I understand you, Prince. Do you get that, Prince? Does this dude Prince understand that I understand him? Prince, not everybody understands the OGs, my friend. All right? The Dons, I like to call them. Not everybody understands the Dons in life. Keith, is that where you are, Delaware? Nice, brother. You can get a big house in Delaware for a good price. Keith, I think you got to bring back the camel picture, dude. I don't know what you got working in that oversized suit in that picture. I don't know. I can't really see it. Might want to bring back the camel, dog. You might want to bring back the camel. Camel might suit you better. And you might want to change the name, too, to Camel Keys. I'm getting out of here. You guys got me on a roll tonight. I think I get delirious from content. Philadelphia is so funny, man. Cologne Keys. All right, Camel Keys. He says, Xander, let your hair grow, but don't comb it back. Leave it down, then try to grow your front. I don't think this is going to work, dude. It will give you the illusion you got a strong hairline. I don't know, dude. That doesn't look too good. I think I got to get that shit up, Killa. I don't know, bro. I don't know, Killa. How many YouTube hours did I? A lot more than 6. I don't know. We had 6 birds. Birds tonight is 2.5. This morning was an hour and a half. That's 4. Celia was 4. That's funny. Xander needs some spikes. Fredo, that's Fredo. Yeah, Fredo, take a lap, kid. All right, Fredo. Fredo, take a fucking hike, kid. All right? Good night, Fredo. Good night. Yo, Killer. I love Philadelphia. This guy is so funny. Xander, trust me, you need to trim the front bangs. It will work with all the emojis. Jason says, have a great night, everyone. Jason, good night, brother. All right. Good night, my man. I appreciate you for being here. Xander, if you do the comb over, oh, look at this. Kimberly's shooting her shot right now. I think that's what that means. I don't know. No, I was not a Mohawk kid. You know, one summer I had my ears pierced, if you guys can believe that. Lasted for about a summer. Honeys loved it. Good Lord. The honeys they were like, they couldn't leave me alone. Good night. The honeys couldn't leave me alone, dude. I had the earrings in. All right. Lasted about a month and a half, probably. That was funny. Funny life. Vanilla ice. It's funny. That's funny. The other guy grew. Abe, Keish, you don't even know, dude. Keish, I've lived a funny life, honestly. I don't say that with any arrogance. I've lived a funny life. Sometimes I think back to some of the shit and I'm just like, man, that's fun. It's funny how I ended up here. I love where I am, though. I really do. I'm having so much fun. I've never let myself say that one era of my life was better than a different era, you know? It's all a process. The guy who drives the Subi at the bars with dudes says, I ain't get any. All right, dog. All right. I know, Bruce. Men like you have always had it. It's like the lion, you know? The lion lays there asleep in the jungle, unfazed. Everybody's pecking at him. Everybody's picking at him. Everybody wants to take their shot at him. Unfazed, Bruce. Unmoved. Unshakable, Bruce. Xander, you need to grow out the mullet. You think so? Daryl, I got a mullet. All right. Z, I bleached my hair and spiked it once. My worst look ever, but it got me the most attention from the ladies. Curtis, you know why, Curtis, right? Curtis, if you're smart, you know why. All right. That's all I'll say. Look at this. Braswell with the 5 membership gifts. Who got them? Who won the member gifted? Who won the gifted members? Who won the gifted members? All right. Who won the gifted members? Tyler, thank you, dude. That means your 2XL shirt will be sent immediately tomorrow. Thank you, bro. Oh, Big Marsh? I thought he was a member. Prince says, Xander's. Which comment, Prince? You got to let me know. Abe says, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Everybody's pecking, Abe. Everybody wants a shot. Everybody wants a piece. All right. Okay, honey. Okay, honey. But you go over there. You leave me in the conversation. All right. You go back over there to your group of 3 dudes wrapped around a bar. All right. You go ahead over there and join back in that discussion. All right. You go back in and get a little 4, nothing like the group of 4 dudes. It's just like in the bar like this. talking to each other. All right, guys. Let your nuts hang. Holy shit. Now we got Theo. 5 memberships. That's 10 gifts tonight. That is 10 gifts tonight, and ZM became a member. How about that? How about that, folks? Theo, thank you, dude. I might have to send you a shirt now, Theo. All right. I might have to send you a shirt now, Theo. Free Preston, you weren't here last season, right? You started watching this summer? You started watching this summer, Preston? Dude, last year we would go after. Guys, I don't think I can do that again this year, the post-game shows. That long? I'm going to do post-game for sure, but I think I got to make it a little bit more structured. B. Preston, last year we would do post-game shows, right? Hour and a half after the game ends, we would go. All right, me, Celia, we'd bring on John from the stadium. All right. And then I would do post-game where I would bring on members, bring on people from the chat to join me on the show. It was really a fun time. But be Preston, sometimes we'd go 3-4 hours. And for the night games, we'd go into 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and then I'd have to get up for the Birds 365. It's funny, man. It's funny. Last year was a fun season, Fleming. It really was. It was a fun season. It really was, dude. Good practice for when you have a kid. I'm not worried about that, Siglord. I don't need a lot of sleep. I thrive on I'm good. Look, if you look at my Whoop data, whatever it's called. Last night I got 5 hours, 20 minutes. Not crazy. Night before 6. Night before 5:30. Night before that 6. No, that's a lot. That was the weekend though. 6 on the weekend. 4:54 one night. 5 hours, 12 minutes. 5:45. 6 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours. 5:45. 5:40. That's about my range. All right. That's about my range. Yeah. It's funny. I went to 4 away games, including the Super Bowl, JAKIB every day. It was fun, Fleming. Fleming, you went to some good games too, man. All right. Look at Dio taking a shot. You could give mine to Prince. He's always complaining. I know, Dio. Nah, Prince is funny, man. I hear you, Dio. Prince. Prince, how can we go into business so you can write off the super chats, dog? Prince, Prince, you want to do a deal? Come on, man. Come on, Prince. Let's do a deal, man. Let's go into business in some way so you can write off the super chats. That's funny. That is funny. Bird Gang Girl says, I'm going on 8 months here. Did you join that late in the year? Bird Gang, I thought you were here for the full season last year. No? You didn't join me? You weren't here for the full year last year? I could have swore you were here longer than that. Look at Killa. I love Killa, dude. He is so funny. He says, I promise I would have Zander not wear hats anymore. Zander, grow your hair straight down, then ask your barber to do this. Trim the bangs, make it into a straight line. Do not cut the bangs. Killa, that sounds like the worst haircut I could ever think of. All right. Oh my goodness, Killa. You're a funny motherfucker. All right. So you were here. Member for 8 months. You were here. All right. I got you. Life of a Showgirl. Is that's a new album name. I saw that. Good for her, man. That doesn't bother me as much as it bothers others, dude. I feel like all the nerds in life get so like bothered by that shit. It's like, bro, what are you bothered by? Get your house in order. How about that? How about be bothered by that? Is your house in order? Is your business in order? Is your life in order? As Killa would say, is your haircut in order? Y'all crying about Taylor Swift. I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift. That's funny, though. I thought Super Chat was a tip. I don't think it is, Hogan. I don't think it's viewed as a tip. Theo says you can write them off if you as media research. That's funny. That's funny. Killer breaking out the protractor. That's great. That is great. Get your house in order. That's the message of the night, all right? Get your house in order. That's my advice to you all. That's my advice to you all. Kimberly said, dropping back. Going for the long ball. Whoa. Kimberly, that was you about 10 minutes ago. Sit. Down, sit. Boom. Long ball for Kimberly. Oh, man, that's funny. You guys got me on one tonight. Get your cornerback room in order, Howie. You're right. It's revenue. I figured that. All right. I figured that. All right. I got to get out of here before this thing goes off the rails a little bit more. Killer. Are Phillies on? What inning are they in? I got to record the scorecard. Trust me, Xander. I used to be a barber. I already seen your hairline. I can make it look like you got straight line by the texture of your hair. Trust me. All right, Killer. You in Philly? Let's get it done, dog. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can do, Killer. Let's see what Killer could do. I like the hats, though. I don't want to get rid of my hat. I like my hats. Why, Killer? You don't like my hats? It's all right. I don't need your fucking approval. I'm just kidding. All right, let me get out of here. Please. The keyword used to be. I think Prince is probably the number one funniest guy in the chat. We got a lot of funny-ass dudes, but I do think Prince takes the cake. I don't know if it's because I get you, Prince, more than the others, but Prince cracks me up. Prince, sometimes I'll be watching Cilio, and I'm not on yet, and I'll just watch the chat a little bit if I'm not doing a million things, and I just laugh out loud, all right? I just laugh out loud. All right, let me get out of here. All right, so I've identified I got to get Josh B a jersey. I got to get my girl Texas T a JAKIB Care Pack. Probably a sweatshirt and a shirt or something. Abe, I know I got to send you that. And I got Brian Fleming, his 2 shirts. Fleming, what'd you email? You emailed me your address before, right? You emailed me your address before. All right, I'll look for it. All right, love all you guys. Kimberly, keep shooting shots in life, all right? I love each and every one of you. You guys are the greatest listeners and audience ever. All right? I love what I do because of you guys. You guys are the best. I really do appreciate you. Okay? Hit the like button. Drop your comments down below. El Yepa reveals himself at the end. El Yepa, I appreciate you watching. All right, Big Mike. What are you, a gray? Big Mike's a gray? Big Mike, I'm going to have to put you in the little Mike category. A gray? This guy, Big Mike. You can't call yourself Big Mike and be a gray. Big Mike equals little Mike. I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just messing with you. I'm not trying to bully you. All right, I've been going long today, and I sometimes beat Preston called it out. I get a little delirious on the air. All right, but Big Mike, good night. All right, I love all you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365. the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate, inside the locker room, and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.